check. Can you pick up on my sound, my voice? Am I coming in loud? Am I coming in clear? Oh yeah? Coming all right? That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Let me lower the music here for a bit. And we'll switch gears right now. All right then, welcome everyone to another one of these exciting little streams of ours. I'm joined here by, I should probably undeafen myself here. All right, we're back in business now. Welcome everyone to another one of these interesting streams. I'm joined by Ryan again. Introduce yourself real quick.
Hello there, Ryan from Nothing But Media. Pleasure to be here again.
And Sekiro's here as well.
Oh, are you start a stream, bro?
Yes, we're streaming right now. You're currently live.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Sekiro. I just literally fell through the trap door. I was meant to deliver some cookies. I think I went to the wrong address.
Fair.
No.
Yeah, cookies are always good. Cookies are always welcome here. Oh my goodness. Now we had Phineas actually briefly here before. For those who know who Phineas is, he was popped in the second before. He won't. But anyway, we're going to be talking right now about a bunch of different topics, mainly Avengers Doomsday, but a lot has been going on in the last, week that's worth discussing. And I feel now's as good a time as any to discuss it. Sailor Moon defeated Rita Repulsa in the new Sailor Moon dub. Yes, they did. Technically. Returning for Doomsday. Oh, you're returning for Doomsday too. It's pretty neat. Got a few people in chat right now. Alright. So let me load that again real quick. It's not going to be a super complex stream, but it is interesting how with every subsequent announcement for Doomsday, I think the hype becomes a little higher for some people. For some, never, but for some it's become more prominent. I know friend of the channel, Jazzy Oliver, is a Doomsday hater and always will be. She told me today how much she can't stand any of the Avengers trailers. I don't think she'll care if I say that. I think she's bragging about how much she doesn't like it on Twitter. On Blue Sky already. But aside from certain folks, there's been a steady increase in the hype, I've noticed, which is good. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's also not going to be heinous either. So I'm hoping for the best, but we'll see. What do you guys think so far about Avengers Doomsday so far?
I think it's one of those wait and see kind of situations. I mean, there's some good signs. I haven't seen any bad signs except for maybe some of the previous films per se, but I'm very hopeful that Robert Downey Jr. will give a stellar performance. Doctor Doom is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I think he has this kind of ultra turbo villain energy. I am very interested in the fact that Jazzy doesn't like it. That's going to be very interesting what their perspective is.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, good super chat.
At King_Roulette super chatted $4.90. Nice. Yo Ant. Finally caught a stream after a depressing moment in my life. This is gonna be a fun watch. I want you to know your content helps people.
That really means a lot to read, honestly. Especially sometimes you get a lot of negative feedback all at once. So it's good to see some positivity here and there. I appreciate it. I hope you got through with whatever's going on in your life right now. And I hope this brings up your spirits. I will say this. I don't know if I should mention this or not. I almost got called out by... I didn't almost get called out. FD Signifier did a stream recently. I saw the highlights of it, and it's basically a problematic white person tier list. I did not get put up in that ranking. But it was people he had associated with, and one of them was Westside Tyler. If Westside Tyler is in chat, by the way, you were in the new FD Signifier video in a positive. But basically,
I heard rumors that I was severely snubbed in that list.
Yes, you were completely snubbed in that list. Clearly, up there with so Westside Tyler's on there, right alongside Movie Bob and what's the comedian who I generally like but did this thing in Saudi Arabia which sucks. who was also in The Mandalorian. What was it?
Bill Burr?
Bill Burr, yeah. He was on there, too. I like Bill Burr generally. It just, obviously for very obvious reasons with the Saudi Arabia show, he kind of shot himself hard in the foot there. But, generally I think his comedy's really good. But he was, on the ranking, and it's actually, Westside Tyler got a good shout-out for his mouthwashing video. If you haven't seen this mouthwashing video. Also, Tyler, I didn't give enough of a shout-out in my second story video. Tyler was one of the ones who called out second story the earliest, with the villain video. He put his out around the same time I was working on mine, just by happenstance. I didn't cite him, obviously, because I wrote and filmed it before seeing his video. But I kind of wish I gave him more of a shout out. He did a really good job with the second story video. He mostly focused on the Hannibal side of things. I don't think I mentioned him in the video. It's been a while since I did it. But FTC The Fight gave him a shout out for his mouthwashing video. And basically he was one of the few white people that he believed fully would tell him the truth no matter what. Because he is so bluntly honest. But in the comments, there was one comment saying, "Where would Anthony Grimuglia rank on this list?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, I would be don't." I'd probably be low on that list. Probably, I can't imagine.
I can't really think of any content that he might have an objection to be perfectly honest.
Probably not. But I the thing is, I always want to. I feel like my big weakness, and this is with all political stuff. I don't have as much, a lot of people who are in that space have such intense knowledge of political theory. I know generally what I know based on observation, but they read the texts, they read the deep-seated analyses, and I kind of just go, oh yeah, I can observe this in my day-to-day life. I see people talk about this, and I can't cite oh, this comes from such and such and so, this big New Yorker essayist or this big college university publication from the 50s or 60s that any political analyst can rattle off the cuff. So I always feel like I fall behind on that one. That being said, though, I can tell you what Maury Calliope thought of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I can't tell you what political analysts thought in the history outside of the obvious historical stuff. So I always feel completely outclassed by minds in that sphere. I listen as much as I can, but I only know so much. So I feel like watching them going if I get mentioned, which is just arrogant of me to even say I would get mentioned. I thought, okay, no, I'm out of my element. I can't. I would be completely eclipsed by these guys, and of course I would be. I'm babbling too much back there. Sorry.
No, I think it's fairly common to have a lot of passion for a topic, but be completely out of your depth regardless.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely passionate about political stuff, but I just don't. One of the reasons I avoid mentioning it on the channel is because I'm not fully confident I know enough to provide something that's meaningful to an audience. There's so many better people out there in terms of knowledge. I would point you to Dead Domain long before I point to myself in terms of political analysis.
With political analysis as well, because originally before I started my media channel, I was thinking about doing a political channel, and to be honest, I'm glad I didn't, because I think it's a hellscape.
It is. It fully is. Sorry, I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
No, that's right. It's the thing about it is, though, it's so difficult, because anything you think, somebody will come and challenge you with information that says the opposite.
Exactly.
But then you don't know how accurate that information is, and so you're in this constant loop of playing catch up with what people say is true and what is actually true, and then everything in between. So yeah, I think it's best to generally stay away from it.
Yeah. By the way, I don't want to leave you in silence too long there, Ortiz. So welcome. We're on stream right now.
Hi, I just jumped in.
Hey, no, you're more than welcome. That's why I have this channel. People can just jump in whenever they want. It's fun. Ideally, anyway. We're just talking about political channels, Nifty Signifier, and going how I'm kind of way out of my depth to ever discuss any meaningful political content on YouTube. I was just saying how I'm completely on my depth when it comes to political content on YouTube. Like, there's so many better people on YouTube to talk about politics than me.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh, yeah,
I
no.
am not the one to talk about politics.
Yeah, give me movie essays. I'm fine, but like, I'm not arrogant enough to tell you what about the in-depth details about Gaza or anything like that.
Honestly, as well, I think it's 50% attitude. I was watching Otley Noah's video on. I can't remember a channel name. You just said it. Second Story.
Oh yeah, the Oppenheimer video. Yeah.
So, to be fair, it's hard to judge somebody based on their first video. I think that's a caveat that I think needs to be said. But even so, it was awful.
Yeah.
Just how prescriptive it was. How saying this is the right way to do it from her as her opening gambit was, this is how you write stories, and anybody else tells you any different is a fool. I'm just thinking, wow.
It's ridiculous. By the way, you guys see this video from Oddly Noah? Otis, Sekirus?
I have not.
I won't play the whole thing now. I recommend you watch it because it is like an hour and 13 minutes long. So I'm not going to play it right now. But the gist of it is Oddly Noah looked at Second Story's first video where she talks about Oppenheimer. And with a great degree of confidence says how the movie Oppenheimer is bad historical fiction.
Oh, that one. No. I think I like skipped around on it, but I think I got the vaguely the general gist.
Yeah. No, it's a long one. It's a big one. Also, we have 200 people in chat. Can everyone like this video? That'd be really nice of you if you did that. I would really appreciate that because we're gonna be looking at some real horse shit today, and I could use the support on that. We're gonna be digging through the muck today. Just a heads up, we're gonna be going through some really crappy opinions, but yeah, no, I think Noah hit the crux on the head there, and then there's a few people I know who are also working on Second Story videos as well, which is interesting. No, yeah. I feel like with historical fiction, there's a few ways of doing it right. This obviously is not. This kind of analysis isn't it. But that being said, though, something more immediately relevant. Who's finished Stranger Things?
I'm halfway through, I think.
Oh, hey, what's up, Cloud Parade? So I just saw you there. Cloud Parade. Best of luck with the stream, Ant and everyone. Oh, thanks so much, Cloud Parade. Cloud Parade also called out Second Story early on, and her video was really useful and helpful with mine. I cited her in the video for
At Stingertopia3169,
I kind of gave up on Stranger Things, to be honest.
Noah, what do you think of the person who he's going to talk about in his next video and said person's lack of media analysis?
Nux Taku is a good point of discussion. You can go to that real quickly. I'm bringing that real fast.
At user_225_CCC super chatted $1.99. Grifters are scared of Birdman's BBC.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that as well, because that's going to be a fun topic to discuss as well. The Birdman thing. Also, thanks so much for 14 months as a member there. Angel and Gaming. 14 months member will return in Avengers Doomsday. Yes, hopefully. Ideally, because that's another 12 or 11 months. Okay, let's talk about this first one because that was brought up. Nux Taku. Any of you guys watch Nux Taku? Oh, no, super checking in.
Slowly raise his hand.
Super chatted $5. That video caused me
He's loud and
pain
annoying,
every time that women
and
spoke
like
epic
his
rap
commentary
battles
is a
had
little
more
bit
accurate history than
lopsided.
her. Hail Lady Iris Hart.
Yes. So first off, Epic Rap Battles was more accurate about Oppenheimer than Second Story. Thirdly, Sekiros, what are you talking down? Freaking Nux Taku.
Wait, what did I do?
At Captain Cad 101 super
What about him?
$2.
Did I answer the question, or was there like a follow-up question?
No, I was being sarcastic. It's all good. I'm just messing with you. So you've seen Nux Taku. Artis, Ryan, have you seen Nux Taku?
I used to watch him once upon a time ago, but I just kind of fell out of favor when I realized he's just kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, over and over again. Also, I get uncomfortable with how often he really seems to love talking about Jaden animations. Like, a lot, which is weird. Kind of
peak
creepy.
Parasocial.
Super parasocial. I mean, it's like there's the one joke that I don't know how true the picture is, that it probably is Photoshop, but it's like of Jaden saying, "Hey, can you just shut the fuck up and stop, please?" Like there's like 4 or 5 different Taku Jaden thumbnails, just really creepy. I don't know. I think it's weird. Nux wish she was dating Jaden. Yeah. Also, Nux
Does Nux still do the Jaden thing? Like, I haven't seen any like new videos on that.
Probably not. Well, this is probably not that lately. But I haven't.
At King_Roll super chatted $4.90. When watching Second Story for the first time, I kept asking myself the same question: media illiteracy or right-wing dog whistle? Which is it?
Well, what do you guys think? Is the Second Story media illiterate or using right-wing dog whistles? What do y'all think? Before I give my opinion.
I get the impression that it's definitely right-wing leaning, possibly conservative Christian sort of leaning. There's a certain amount of puritanicalness about it. And I think it's probably more likely to be propaganda than actual. And there's no way somebody could be that media illiterate.
That's fair. Ortiz, Sekiros, what are your thoughts?
I have. Oh, Ortiz, you can go first.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say I'm not as familiar with this Grifter.
Fair. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Second Story is a character. You're better off. You're better off not knowing.
So, I like kind of skimmed through, and from what I could gather, there was a misunderstanding. Well, I'm going to be very charitable here because I think like charitability can be a virtue sometimes. I think they looked at the film, and I think they misunderstood the intention of the film in terms of the way the camera focuses on different aspects of the thing. Because the way I see it, it's called Oppenheimer, so it's probably going to focus on Oppenheimer. I think that's a start. But number 2, she's asking for a thing that I don't think Nolan would be interested in, even if maybe it would be a more well-rounded film on, hypothetically, the Manhattan Project. Because as I say before, it is called Oppenheimer. What I will say, however, if someone comes in with like a conservative leaning and they're watching like Oppenheimer, there might be a handful of moments when Oppenheimer raises a few beliefs or worldviews that might run somewhat antithetical to how they saw the same series of events, and that might be a source of complaint. But I don't necessarily think Nolan is 100% going, oh yeah, Oppenheimer's like right about everything. I think it's more the fact, oh yeah, how is Oppenheimer dealing with this whole situation as it unfolds?
That's fair. And that's relevant for that specific review too. Oh yeah, so Ancient Gaming has a comment too.
At Angels Art and Gaming super chatted $2.
Yeah.
I read her book in Ant's Discord. It was boring.
Yeah, I saw the aftermath of that in the Discord. I was, I think I was recovering from finishing the video at that point, and I just see you all in voice chat and coming out and going like, Jesus, what the fuck? I want to read Cloud Parade's comment too, because she also has watched Second Story and read some of her stuff. I think she's trying with her media analysis, but it ends up not good, especially when there are so many right-wing dog whistles in it. Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, Sekiros, you've seen the Oppenheimer response, but her other stuff is insane. Downright, it's not insane. That's the wrong word. It's genuinely bad faith, truly bad faith. Some of her comments about college papers, for example. So to give an example, in one of her videos on villains, she takes a bunch of college essays from college students, not from college professors, college students, that have been published academically, and she names and shames them basically, and lies about what the content is. She shows the cover pages of the college essay and tells her audience what these essays are about, but she's lying. They're not really what she's saying they're about is not what they're actually about. But she's saying something to her audience to misrepresent it, to make them sound stupider than they really are, to make college students collectively sound like they're part of a failed institution, essentially. So that's just pure malice. There's no charitable way of framing that one.
Did she actually read the insides, or did she just read the title, then kind of went off? Because I have seen people look at the title of a thing, think they already got the gist of what they're trying to say, and then they just like run at like full throttle.
Well, that's the problem. She indicates she's read it. That's the issue. But she clearly hasn't. She clearly hasn't read it, but she acts like she has.
At KJ Zana super chatted $2. Would you guys ever want to meet Tommy Wiseau IRL?
Okay, that's a good question for chat first for you guys before I answer the question. So the question is, would you want to see The Room's Tommy Wiseau IRL?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Artis, Ryan?
No.
Personally, no. I've got no real interest.
I have a buddy who did.
Oh, you're no fun.
I kind of want to.
Like you get to play football, you get to play catch, you get to
her videos shilling her books or her books shilling her videos?
In a tux.
Because there are a lot of bad media take channels that end with "buy my thing."
Yes, so Second Story's videos do shill her book in every single one, and that's fine if you're a writer. Like, shill your book, but like. The problem is she frames her book as the way to write correctly, and she frames herself as a writing expert, which is problematic. You have to back it up. I would be Tommy Wiseau in a heartbeat, you kidding? I would love that. It would be great. Oh my god.
The correct response.
At the Misfit Fan super chatted $10. Bluntly, I think Second Story's issue, besides the clear conservative leanings, is her pretentiousness, and part of that is that she thinks she's smarter and more insightful than she actually is.
Yes, I agree. That's entirely the issue. She acts like she's smarter than she really is, and that outstrips her abilities. Oh, Wave is having chat real quick, and then I'm gonna pause supers for a second.
At the Wave Runner super chatted $5. Her saying that it's inevitable that people will act out acts that they read in extreme fiction is where any minuscule goodwill I had dissipated.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, and she acts like reading gay fiction is enough to make you go crazy and be a pedophile. That right there is pretty conservative of a dog whistle, I think. That right there, I mean, if you've seen her say that and you still think there's good faith in her, I gotta scratch my head a little bit there. Because that's like extreme.
Oh damn! I had no idea she said that. Damn.
I figured you didn't, because you're talking about Oppenheimer. If you're talking about like Second Story and the first thing you think of is the Oppenheimer one, you haven't seen that part. So I totally hear you there. She thinks that she links a quote unquote uptick in violence with with BL works.
It hasn't been an uptick in violence, and that's another conservative talking point.
Exactly. It's all bullshit.
Violent crime has been down since the 90s, and the leading theory that I tend to sort of lean towards is that it's when they took lead out of paint and petrols.
Yeah, honestly,
I agree.
That's fair. Unleaded paint probably helps a lot.
Like, you see the bar chart and you see when they start taking lead out of things, and all of a sudden people started to not get angry so quickly.
Yeah.
Imagine consuming lead that much might drive you crazy. That makes sense, honestly. It does have an effect on people. I do want to bring up one thing that's totally silly. No, not there. Right here. I want to bring this up real fast. So this piece of art right here we shared on the Bird site. And this is the last thing I'll do before we move on to the Avengers Doomsday stuff, because that's going to be fun to discuss. But this piece of art was shared by Austin Kennedy on Twitter, depicting me, the Birdman, Oddly Noah, Fireside Media, High CHD, and Eric DeBunks as the Avengers, along with Nick Fury as Nick Fury. I thought it was a really cool idea, so I have reached out to every single person here to do a future project with at some point. I don't know what it's going to be. We haven't decided anything yet. But it is in the works. It is going to happen at some point. I got the Birdman and all of them in a Discord chat together, so we'll see how that goes. It'll be fun. Maybe just be like a stream, maybe be like a video. I have no idea yet, but it's a project in the works at some point. We probably will not use this image though. We might make a joke about it, but we're not gonna I'm probably not gonna put in a thumbnail or anything like that yet. But we'll see what happens. That being said, though, me as the Hulk I find very interesting. I don't know why they put me on the Hulk. I'm like the least angry out of all these guys.
Yeah, I think it probably would probably fit Eric more than you because
honestly, Eric can go hardcore. Sometimes he gets pissed. I've seen that before a few times.
Righteously so. I don't think he's ever wrong in his anger, but
no, never. I think he's on the point almost every single time. And if there's like a point I don't think he's on the point with, it would be like a point of just like a minor point of discussion, not like a point that's anything significant. It's interesting though. It's an interesting eclectic group. I feel there's a lot of faces that are missing. Like obviously, I think like for example, actual fandom I think should be on here. It's someone because he is definitely someone who's been talking about this topic for a very long time. Ryan, you should be on here somewhere.
No, I've been there. I'd rather be the guy in the van. That's the position I take. But actual fandom and organized chaos were my introduction to people fighting back against the sort of Chud sphere, and I think they were a couple of the first to do it, along with some people who perhaps covered them once or twice. I
think their exclusion is a big omission here because they are so major.
But then if you haven't come across those channels, I don't blame the guy who put it together for excluding them necessarily. But
I agree. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. And Pillar of Garbage as well, who was the first sort of big name to really go hard on them we had. And,
his Glass Onion video about Critical Drinker. If you haven't seen his Glass Onion video, Pillar of Garbage's Glass Onion video, it's fantastic. And honestly, there are a lot of bigger names in the BreadTube sphere that talked about grifters and misinformation. I think of H Bomber Guy, but for obvious reasons, I feel like he's in a whole different league than a much larger league than us for obvious reasons.
And of course, Jose did a Critical Drinker video that was excellent. So there are a couple of big guys that.
100% Jose, Big Joel's another one. Thought Slime, I think, has done some good stuff as well. And there's a lot of stuff about Nostalgia Critic that came out from other people, too. I know Lady Emily did a really good Channel Awesome video. I know Big Joel also did a Channel Awesome video. Although I don't think Doug Walker is a grifter. I think he's more just has bad comedy. And among other things.
I think he stems most of his wisdom from himself as opposed to larger bubbles, if that makes sense. He just looks at a thing and then he just kind of goes half cocked or whatever.
Half cocked is a very good expression for it, I think.
I think he stretched the joke out perhaps just a little too far. Didn't move with the times.
Oh my god. Okay, I gotta share this with you guys. I just got a message from Crime's New Roman. Yeah. Oh, he was basically saying your next video project's coming out. Oh crap. Apparently she has a new video on machines. But you know what? If she's criticizing AI, that's let them fight. You know what I mean? Let them fight. If she's fighting AI. But people have said her cover might be AI for her book. I don't know about that. It looks kind of AI-ish, but I don't want to assume yet.
I see a lot of false accusations and that kind of stuff sometimes. It gets very intense. RR had a load of incidents with that.
Well, let me bring up the image here because I can see it. I get it.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
This is the official image right here. Let me just bring the whole thing up. Open up new image and tab right here. It's on Reddit, so but bear with me on this one. That does look a little AI-ish. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the hair looks a little AI-ish.
You need to zoom in. The only way you're ever going to tell, you need to zoom in like pixel dense. You need to see how the pixels align. You need to see how much chromatic aberration there is. You should also keep in mind some people intentionally put chromatic aberration in. Exactly. Like, here's the thing: you see that blue section with all the texture. You could theoretically do that in Photoshop. You could just get an actual blue texture, and you could like chroma into it. Basically, use a masking tool. That's equally possible.
That's true. I think the hair is the one that gives me the most pause, and the detail of wrinkles. It seems a little too elaborate, but also I don't think it's enough to say it is AI. It could be an artist. You know, I'm not going to make an assumption there. Artis, Ryan, what do you think of this one? Do you think it's anything?
Hard to tell.
Right?
Yeah.
It really is hard. I don't have the keen eye for it as much as I thought I could.
Neither do I. It's rough. And this is an older cover, so it must be an older model of AI. I don't think it's... I don't know enough to say it's AI, but I know enough to know I'm giving it a second look. You know what I mean? Like, I'm giving the second story a second look with her cover art. I'm so sorry. So it's another.
I know that there's like sites online you can like feed it through, and it gives you a percentage of how much it's real art versus AI art.
But those aren't reliable. Those aren't totally like sometimes they work, but they've been doing it more and more where some of it's gotten a little harder to detect, which is it's tricky. I don't know. It's tough. It's not easy to really determine. Anyway, on a lighter note, let's take a look at something really bad. All right. Let me turn the music off, because now getting into the nitty-gritty of this whole thing. So, Ryan, you don't have to answer this question, because I know what you're going to say. But Artis, Sekiros, what are your perspectives on The Critical Drinker?
Should I go first, or should Artis go first?
You can go first. You can go first.
Okay, so Critical Drinker, I think a lot of his arguments are kind of vibe-based. I think there was probably a time period or era that he liked in films, and it's one of those philosophical questions about whether or not the world changed without you, or you regress, something like that. I think there was a period about 2 years ago where, like, he would try ever so slightly to curb back his expected responses to films if they have like one or two redeeming values. If I remember correctly, you're familiar with Skeleton Crew? Mm-hmm. He was actually incredibly charitable to that movie, and like, to be fair, I love that. I love that series. That
I have a reason. I can give you the reason for that, but once you're finished.
Yeah. When you finish, we can get that.
I think in recent years, I think he has turned it back to money faucet again. Yeah, I understand the whole point of a grift is like there's a money / what would like the largest male group somewhat semi-feel about an issue and just repeat what they already like feel about a thing. That's usually how it works.
Yeah. I'll say my piece at the end, but Ryan, I know you have a count to that, but Artis, what do you think first?
I think Drinker is a racist, sexist, misogynistic pig that should never pick up a mic again, because at this point, whether what his career has become, he is now just not even respectable. It's just saying anything for the grift of it all.
You see, I lean more towards Artis's perspective on this one. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he said some shit, man. He has said some shit. I guess I get what you're saying though too. Like, he does seem to be anchored into the past way more than the present, and he's I almost worships, very reveres the old stuff, but like doesn't seem to understand it. There have been some comments. Ryan, say your piece first, 'cause I know you have thoughts on certain comments about Skeleton Crew before I go into a tangent. I've said a lot about the Drinkers, so I don't want to monopolize that discussion.
All I was going to say about Skeleton Crew is it is notable in the fact that none of the Grifters went hard after it, even though it was a Star Wars series that followed on from The Acolyte. And I think the only reason for that is the cast was primarily children, and YouTube has much stricter terms and conditions on bullying children, even child actors, than it does adults.
I would be willing to go Hamlin's razor on this one. Though, hypothetically, there could be a possibility. I feel like it is so specific and there is an absolute... Is it bereft? What happens when you say there's a lack of a thing? There's a word for it.
Bereft of something, usually.
Yeah. There's a very big bereft of that being the case. Like... don't get me wrong, it'd be very hard to prove either way, but like the evidence is absent, if that makes sense, of that being the reason.
Well, just a theory.
Yeah, no, it is
theory,
just a theory.
sure.
It's
a game theory? No, sorry, go on.
You're saying the evidence is absent, but the absence of evidence is not the evidence of abstinence.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes, abstinence is important. No, sorry, you said it wrong.
Don't say that in America. We had a whole thing about that in the 20s. But like, no,
it wasn't just him. None of them were critical of Skeleton Crew. And usually they start grifting on a Star Wars property way before it's announced, or way before you see any footage from it.
Yeah, and it's weird. I will offer one counter argument though to your theory, Ryan, and it's this. And it's not one that's in Critical Drinker's favor either. It's very critical of him, but it is a counter argument to that. That didn't stop Critical Drinker from bullying the children in The Acolyte. There was that very famous moment where he looked at like a shot from The Acolyte where they were like kids training to be Jedi, and he was like, "Oh, let's play a game of spot the white person." And it's
my gosh!
Yeah,
so that is true. That is true.
So
but
he has been known to be extremely aggressive towards kids too. So that's my one counter argument to that. I think the big argument as to why they didn't attack Skeleton Crew is because it is so very much anchored in like the 1980s nostalgia that they obsess over. I do think that's one factor possibly. But I'm not going to be charitable with Critical Drinker. He's demonstrated time and time again he's very bigoted and very racist, even at the best of times. I'm going to let some super chats play up because I've been pausing them for a bit. Let's listen to some.
At King_Roulette super chatted $1.99. At least his SS is 5% smarter than Critical Drinker.
I don't know if Second Story might be smarter than Critical Drinker. I'll give him that. I'll give it that.
At Proletarian Pride super chatted $5. Would you ever consider branching out into broader, more serious political topics? Talking about world politics, left v right outside of media.
I consider it, but it's not my niche. I'm not, and they're better people than I am at that. A couple membership mentions. The Wave Runner for 13 months said a box of scraps will return in Avengers Doomsday, and the Guy 493, the Dirty Pair will return in Avengers Doomsday. I hope both appear because that'd be amazing. I love Dirty Pair. That's a great anime. I love Dirty Pair so much. Hopefully this year get to talk about it.
At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $5. All good fiction has lesbians. There are no straight magical girls, especially gushing over magical girls, and Nukitashi is very pro-LGBTQ+.
All good fiction has lesbians. That's a statement I think very few people will argue with you on that one.
At WC with super chatted $5. Feel like Bobvids, Everything Wrong with Cinema Sins series is the precursor to what you all have been doing.
Yeah, Bob Vids was another one that did a lot of really good stuff early on, I think. That alongside
At King_Roulette super chatted $4.90. I can imagine a video with Birdman about grifters, specifically how modern online discourse has been damaged, both from Puritans and malicious people.
You know what? Online discourse is a mess, and that's nothing.
At Jonathan Frostathan super chatted $10. Popped in to say hi everyone.
Hello,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Thank you.
I'm finally gonna beat the unemployment allegations soon.
Hell yeah,
and I
you
came
will.
out as agender to my family and they all accepted me in my flying colors.
Congratulations.
Aw, that's
Carrot.
congrats.
That's amazing. I'm so glad.
Congrats.
That's really great.
At Tall King Movie Bubbles B6N super chatted $4.99. Sorry for the brain damage that was that Star Giant anime ranking video. There's some money for surgery.
I almost considered doing that today, but that would have been too painful for me to do. I'm not going to lie.
At Olivia _Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $1.44. 11 will come back in Avengers Doomsday.
Here's hoping not. I hope not. Less Stranger Things. Please.
At Lupine Calibrator super chatted $5. Advice for self-discipline to put out consistent content without ending up with sloppy content? I admit, I want to do better, just don't know how.
Advice. Oh boy, what can I... That's tough. Know your limits is a good one for it, you know? I tend to go for like half-hour videos when possible. Half hour, 40 minutes when possible. Obviously, I don't know my limits and I overextend myself quite frequently. I got to tell you, my methods for putting out content consistency are not healthy for anyone else to do. Like, I don't sleep sometimes. I'll work until like 2 a.m. in the morning working.
At Zypher 8677 super chatted $2.
Would recommend it.
Ryuko Matoi will return in Avengers Doomsday.
More people coming for Avengers Doomsday, that's fair. I think the best idea is to know how much time you have every week. Get a routine going. I write when I'm in the bathroom. Like, I'll write on my phone on the toilet a lot of my scripts. So it's like, any chance I get to do something when I'm like otherwise unoccupied, I will take it. So that's a big factor right there. So just be careful, you know, don't overextend yourself is the best advice I can give you, but I don't take that advice. So I feel hypocritical giving it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't.
The thing that's helped me with consistency is banking. So don't write a video, record a video, and put it out. If you're concerned with your regularity, it's I'd write a few scripts, record them all, and so you've got a bank. It's not always easy to do, but that's what helped me get more consistent.
Fair. It's a good idea. It's good advice too, to collect and have a few in the.
At Jonathan Frostathan super chatted $5. Prison Mike will return in Avengers Doomsday and drive Doom up the wall like his BYOTCH.
Oh my god, I love how that spelled it out like that. That's perfect. I was also tempted to just watch like 80s dating videos on stream one day, which would be fun. You ever see those? The 80s dating videos where it's like, they put out. Let me see if I can find one. 1 second. I gotta show you one of these. 80s dating vid. Psycho Mike. You have to experience this. Oh, it's Instagram. I don't want to do that. Oh God. Oh, okay. Hang on. This is real brief. Real quickly. Let me show you this real fast. Where is it? Right here.
Ever seen those old
like this right here?
You talk about your interests. Ads. Basically, that's how you find a date. You get
Here we
these.
Go, right here. Here we go. Sorry. You have to experience.
Tends to bring out. So let's pick one here.
Yeah, this is the one.
My name is Michael Flannery. I'm also known as Psycho Mike. Owner of Psycho Mike's Beach Body Shop on Venice. Living in Van Nuys. Yeah, I'm looking for a date, girlfriend, wife, long-term relationship. I mean, I'm looking for somebody who likes me for me.
Oh, okay, Psycho Mike.
You see, I want to just, I want to just do one of them like watching that all the time. I just want to do like a stream where I just watch these because they're just so like unhinged, but also like surprisingly wholesome, and then also deeply disturbing sometimes. It's a great mix. So
Yeah.
so chat. If you ever want me to see me do that, just let me know. All right, I will absolutely love to watch Psycho Mike all day. It'd be great. I would love that. Oh, we got another super chat coming in.
At Tall King Movie Bubbles B6N super chatted $4.99. Just have Erica Mendez in a bad Ryuko Matoi cosplay in the Doomsday movie. That would be worth of admission alone.
You know what? Yeah, that would be pretty great. I would love that. I would love that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I know, right? So one day we'll do that. Psycho Mike, the villain in Doomsday. Or Critical Drinker, the villain in Doomsday. All right. Let me just... In Sinners, I'm sorry. Let me pause this real quick. Okay, cool. Sorry. Critical Drinker would be the villain in Sinners. I think it's actually what his name was. I'm kidding. So here's the video in question.
Oh, Marvel. you could not live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me.
So
arrogant.
corny. I hate him.
So corny. Like, that's the corny. Like, I know I've had some corny videos and introductions, but that actually hurt me a little bit on the inside.
No, like we're good corny. We're upbeat corny. He's just spiteful corny.
Mm-hmm.
It's so self-aggrandizing as well. As if anyone outside of his corner of YouTube has any idea who he is.
Yeah, no. Like, that. Like, the problem... The moment that a YouTuber becomes like cringe is when they think they're actually more important than they really are. Like, because like none of us think we're that important in the vast scheme of the world. Like well,
I do.
Okay, well you're different, but but like, you know, there's a point where like, oh, I have a sphere of influence. Like, people will say like, oh, you're a big YouTuber. Like, no, you're not. You're just a person. Like, Bomber Guy's a big YouTuber, and if you ask any ordinary person who doesn't go on YouTube all the time who Bomber Guy is, or people who go on YouTube a lot, they might not know who the guy is, you know? He's known in his sphere, but outside that sphere, it's very different. Same with Critical Drinker. It's like, he's not big enough to discuss, to be a global trend.
And even if he is, he's mainly known in joking circles of like, oh, you mean that Grifter who has like a thick Irish accent?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he's Scottish.
Oh. I don't know.
Well, I know he got arrested.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that you can't tell the difference between Scottish and Irish?
I guess I don't. I don't hear it enough.
Generally not. No.
Okay. All right.
We're very protective.
That'll be a discussion for another time. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, we're very protective of our accents.
Sort of European accent.
Can you tell me the difference between a Boston and a New York, Brooklyn accent?
I think Boston's
but
more
not
loud.
Without doing it.
Yeah,
not,
I thought
not
so.
Without doing the offensive
Yeah, I thought
aggression.
so. Yeah, that's what I thought.
If you gave me samples A and B, I could probably point them out, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, Matt Damon's Boston.
Yeah.
And can do a very good Boston accent. And
right, but if you were hearing someone who wasn't famously from Boston, like just in the street, it'd be a little harder for you to figure out, I think.
No, I mean, when he does his Bostonian accent, I can recognize he's putting on a more Bostonian accent than a New York accent.
But that's a performance more than anything else. Like, they're emphasizing the. I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, like Irish and Scottish to Americans sound similar, but I would imagine Brooklyn and Boston sound the same kind of similar to like someone in England. It's like one of those things where it's like. And it's like getting into less obvious ones, like the difference between like a New Orleans accent versus like a Mississippi accent, you know.
I think, for example,
to someone who's out in America,
one for you.
Specify.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between New York and New Jersey.
Yes, that one's very tough because they're so close. Actually, I guess they're the same distance.
Feel so bad.
I guess they'd be similar to Ireland and Scotland in terms of distance, I imagine. Because
probably.
Yeah, I guess it would be actually. Now I'm thinking about it because I always feel like New York is so close because I'm like, New Jersey, like right outside New York, so it's like a 20-minute drive over. But like, I guess like, but I've also heard like in England, someone saying like a 20-minute drive is like a distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's due to the accent thing. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's reckoned that our accents change roughly, or used to at least, every 15 miles, because that was the average distance that you could travel on a horse by day, I think, something like that. And so that was the subtle variations, but we've amalgamated a bit since then.
That makes sense. And again, like New Yorkers and New Jersey accents, they're very similar because you got different varieties. Like some people think I'm from New York because my accent, but it's not. It's North Jersey. But and also New York itself has different accents. Like upstate New York is different from Manhattan, which is different from Queens, which is different from Brooklyn, which is different from Bronx, which is different from
Albany.
Albany's upstate. Albany's very upstate.
Yeah.
Albany's very upstate. Yonkers is different, and it's all like its own little. It's all like all the boroughs, Long Island, Staten Island. Actually, Staten Island's more like Jersey, I guess. Staten Island's its own thing. Staten Island is mostly an abandoned asylum, a trash dump, and Trump country, but New York. New York edition. Anyway, back to the undue error. Let's play some super chats real quick because a few are piling up.
At Lupine Calibrator super chatted $2. Appreciate it. Also, get a Robo for Doomsday.
Yes, get a Robo would be amazing in Doomsday. You kidding?
At Zypher 8677 super chatted $2. Some say New Jersey, others say New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey accent. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, back to this. Let's hear the undue arrogance of the Critical Drinker. We had to stop for the arrogance. I'm sorry.
In case you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, or just passed out drunk from too much festive celebration, you're probably gonna know that Marvel have started dropping teaser trailers for Avengers Doomsday, which is still like a year away, but what the hell, you've got to build that hype up somehow. And hats off to them for this one, using Fire and Ass, probably the biggest Disney movie of the entire year, as an exclusive release mechanism was a pretty genius marketing move. Whoever came up with that idea, give that man a raise.
No, I don't think I will.
Right from the get-go,
It's just not a funny joke. That's the thing too. Like Critical Drinker is supposed to be, at the very least, his audience thinks at least he's funny, right? Like that's how it is in theory. Like Fire and Ass is a pretty lame joke, and like the money, it's just not funny. Like it's not that it's bad. It's just it's not funny.
Also, once again, he's made the mistake of, just being wrong, because Zootopia 2 is currently kicking ass at the box office, and that's probably Disney's biggest property.
Let's find out. I'm curious now. Let's find out. Disney box office 2020. Actually, Zootopia 2.
I did just forget something crucial though. They have completely ignored the fact that Zootopia 2 exists because it spoils the narrative that their animation side of things is dying.
100%. That's the problem. It's like they're actually pretty close. Zootopia 2. So, and Zootopia 2 is actually making a decent amount of money even right now. Like it's still in the top 10 for the box office. Right now, global earnings through Sunday, this past weekend, it's at an estimated $1.083 billion, which is massive. And the other two films to cross $1 billion this year are both Disney films, Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 now has $1.558 billion globally. So it's still going pretty strong. It just re-overtook Avatar in China. I'm not surprised. And again, Zootopia is obscenely popular. Like I am actually stunned how popular Zootopia is, but mostly not. Like I kind of saw it coming in China because, for those who don't know, China has a whole big Zootopia. China has 2 Disney theme parks, right? And I forget if it's in the Shanghai or Hong Kong Disney location, but they have a huge Zootopia section. It's very popular. So I knew when they were making Zootopia, it was going to be big in China because Chinese love that movie. What I didn't realize was how popular it was going to be, because Jesus, it is popular over there. But no, they're completely ignoring it because it's inconvenient to their narrative, which is to say Disney is supposed to be is failing all the time, because Marvel's had a downtick recently. And again, Marvel has had a downtick recently. That's undeniable. But the big issue is Marvel's always had downticks and upticks. But whenever the downtick goes very low, there's always an uptick shortly after because that forces people to get creative, we haven't seen it in a very long time is the problem. It used to be fairly frequent where they would be ups and downs for Marvel. But we haven't had one in a very long time. And I think people have kind of forgotten this key element of what makes Marvel Marvel. The fact they do bounce back every time. Eventually. Not always quickly, but eventually.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a lot of people that didn't first see Thunderbolts were very much missing out. That movie was amazing. But I also understand at the time, it was superhero fatigue. There was just nonstop hero after hero after hero. It was exhausting. I skipped a few Marvel movies. It just didn't seem interesting at the time for me.
Exactly. And let's be blunt about it. Who actually would want to see it on paper? on paper without any context, because you guys assume the average person doesn't watch these trailers. They just look to see what's on that week or hear word of mouth. Who's going to be talking about the C team of characters? Like, who's getting hyped about the replacement
Ghost.
Black Widow, the bad guy from Ant-Man 2, the bad guy from a few movies that came out to Disney, a few products came to Disney Plus. There isn't that flagship character who gets you. Say what you will about Captain America and Thor. They are iconic now, but when they first came out, they were like, oh, these are just characters who we happen to know about. And even then, they didn't make that much money when they first came out. Not a whole lot, anyway. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is the exception. Like, that's the bizarre, that's the anomaly, Everyone else was either built up in another movie or had enough name brand recognition to be like, oh, I know that to some extent. So, Fantastic Four is the one where I'm like, okay, this made enough to make a profit, allegedly. This is the name that got enough recognition. And, Marvel does not have, for the first time in I think it's 13 years, does not have a movie in the top 10 this year in terms of box office output. But that's not to say they haven't had anything, any successes this year, because they have. But, still. I'm babbling. Very sorry about that. But we got a bunch of super chats. We're going to let some of them play real quick.
At Hopeless Nostalgic 4833 super chatted $5. Psycho Mike will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Psycho Mike will come back in that. I would love that. I gotta get a girl. Psycho
At
Mike.
Jonathan Frostathan super chatted $2. New Jersey daughter or New Jersey son?
New Jersey son. At least my son's from New Jersey.
At Beckwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $2. Thoughts on Netflix buying WB?
It's bad for Hollywood. It's bad. It's better than Paramount. Bad for Hollywood.
At King_Rollet super chatted $4.90. Completely unrelated, but what do you think of Yatsi Crosshaw? 0 punctuation, fully ramblomatic, as a game critic?
That's a good question. I have complex feelings on Yahtzee. I'm going to read this one real quick before we get into that. David Deister, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Have any of you played Dispatch, a superhero game that could be better than the mainstream superhero games from DC and Marvel? I like Dispatch. I've not played it, but I like it from what I've seen. So what do you guys think of Yahtzee, to answer that super chat real quick?
Yahtzee's great. Yeah, he's fine.
Yahtzee's fun, right? Ryan Ortiz?
I'm not
I've heard good
hugely
things.
familiar.
See, for me, unfortunately, I have a problematic relationship with Yahtzee. Not because I have an issue with Yahtzee personally. I think Yahtzee's pretty fun. I think he's on point a lot. The problem is that Lily Orchard stole almost all of her jokes from Yahtzee. Almost verbatim. And so because I've covered Lily Orchard so many times in the channel, I have heard Yahtzee's jokes echoed through a worse version so many times, it's actually killed my ability to watch Yahtzee. Which is tragic. But, Lily Orchard ruins everything. Authentically. Did you hear that she was talking about me the other day, actually? Lily Orchard?
She was?
I don't watch bad videos, so I wouldn't know what she was talking about.
That's fair. It wasn't obviously Lily Orchard's words do not travel as far anymore. There have been enough responses to her to see that she's not going to have a big reach. But she was talking about how all of her critics turn out to be psychos or crazy or complete failures, and used me as an example. I'm like, oh, okay, Lily. Well, I'll see you again in 4 months when I have more subs than you. I'm sorry. I'm so petty, but that's something I'm when it comes to Lily Orchard, I'll allow myself to be a little petty. I will say that. I don't like being petty, but when it comes to her, I'll be a little petty.
As you should.
As you should. Exactly.
She's earned it.
Yeah, she tried to take down my channel. I feel valid in being a little petty about her. I try to let things go usually, but with her, I'll make an exception.
I think when people start going after your channel, like the gloves kind of come off at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, like listen, you can criticize my channel all you want. People have done that. It's the copyright thing that gets me a little bit. You know, like it's the trying to actually destroy the channel. That's where I get. It's the plagiarism accusations. That's where I get like, okay, let's face reality for a second here, Lily. All right. Only one of us has committed plagiarism, and it's not me. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. No, I don't want to sidetrack this into a Lily Orchard rant. I'd rather talk about Critical Drinker because I feel he's more immediately relevant than Lily Orchard, who is not relevant at all. Okay, cool. So with that being said...
Marvel have made no secret of the fact that Doomsday was going to be all about one thing. Nostalgia.
Arguably because that's... Oh my god, I'm excited.
What was it?
Channing Tatum's coming back? Oh my gosh, I love Gambit.
Yeah, Channing Tatum's going to come back as Gambit.
I'm so excited.
There's also rumors... There's a lot of rumors about other people who will be coming back, because in the initial announcement, they did not mention that Chris Evans, for example, was coming back. That was a reveal later on. So there's a rumor that there's a lot of other cameos that have not been officially announced yet. I think Owen Wilson is believed to be coming back too, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. A lot of people say like, oh, Deadpool, Wolverine, X-23, those guys are going to be back, but I can see that being held back for the next film.
Yeah, they're also doing some reshoots in a few months, which are probably going to pick up anyone who wasn't previously available.
That's a fair point too. I hope they bring back Halle Berry. I would like to see Storm come back. Like that's one I feel like Storm is one of those characters who, like, if you're doing the X-Men one last time, you got to bring Storm back. She's like too iconic.
Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, also, if it's gonna talk about characters who'll come back, I do hope they bring Ultron back at some point, because I know they're bringing him, doing the whole Vision Quest thing, where they bring Ultron back. I would like to see Ultron, at least in Secret Wars, because I feel like Ultron's one of those villains who, like, you could do so much with, but they didn't, but they could have.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't. I don't know. Also, next trailer apparently is going to have the Wakandans. I saw the leak of it. They're going to have the Wakandans with the Fantastic Four, so we got that going there. We got to see M'Baku with the Thing. Two of my favorite, like, smaller characters, I get. Well, smaller figuratively than literally from the MCU so far. Hopefully, give M'Baku more to do than just like standing in the background in a fight scene, though. That'd be kind of neat. Give him an actual like couple lines of dialogue. I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone who's seen like Black Panther is like agrees that M'Baku is one of the best parts of that movie, but like, what do I know? Just hypothetically saying, we should have more M'Baku around. But again, I digress.
The only card left for the MCU to play at this point before it all gets rebooted and the cycle of money making begins again with a new generation. And yeah, it might be cheap and manipulative, but you've got to admit,
he really overuses those Mandy clips. Like, he really
don't know.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't know how it possibly fits into the context of this video at all.
Yeah, no, because okay, so who's seen Mandy here before I explain this context?
You mean the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
I have not, so no spoilers, please.
No spoilers? Okay. Ortiz, have you seen Mandy?
No.
Okay, first off, your homework is to watch Mandy. The movie's it's a great movie. Okay, let me rephrase that. Watch it if you're up for a very violent but fun movie, because it's extremely violent and extremely trippy, but it's fun. Like it's entertaining, but it's nuts.
I mean, I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but it's probably the best film Nicolas Cage has been in 20 years.
Yeah, that and Pig, I think, are the two that I would say are the best he's been in. Spider-Verse doesn't count, by the way. That's great, but not because of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
because he's good in it, but he's not great in it. He's great in Mandy and Pig. But that scene that they clipped from, I'm not, without spoiling it, it's a scene where Nicolas Cage chugs vodka and screams while wearing a tiger shirt and no pants on. And it goes for a full minute of him just screaming.
Oh, wow.
And in context, it makes sense. There's a lot of emotion in that scene. Without spoiling, I can't explain the context, but you're totally with him as he's doing it. But like, it's an unhinged thing to show in response to what Critical Drinker's talking about. Like, it's not even his best rage scene in the movie. He has some rage in that film. But still. Anyway.
It's pretty fucking effective. Remember all those characters you used to love in other better movies when our franchise was actually still good? Well,
Thor? The original Thor is your reference for really good? I mean, I like the original Thor, but I wouldn't say it's the best Thor film. I mean, I'd still say Ragnarok is.
Gosh, Ragnarok was so fun.
Ragnarok's so awesome. It's a shame that Waititi kind of like burned himself. Like, Taika Waititi's fall off is like fascinating because like he was riding on such goodwill between this, Jojo Rabbit, What We Do in the Shadows, and then he did Love and Thunder, and that kind of burned him out. It's wild. I guess also he kind of had a lot of weird interviews that kind of killed some of the goodwill, but like still, I don't know. Oy vey. Anyway, sorry, back to this.
They're back for one last adventure. This is the last time you're ever going to see them on the big screen. You don't want to miss out on that, do you? You dick. It's a bit like that cool new band you used to love as a teenager, but then they aged out of their style and their last few albums were kind of shit, and you moved on to other stuff.
Hey, fuck you, Imagine Dragons was always good.
That's fair. Yeah, no, seriously.
So
God,
it's also a stupid
Imagine Dragons in fucking years. Wow. I'm thinking about it.
It's also a really stupid comparison because this is nothing like a band, because a band is made up of generally the same people.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Exactly.
And they're telling different stories in Marvel. So the fact that the audience haven't been there. Well, the entire argument is that every film that Marvel should have made after Endgame should have made $1 billion or it was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is not sustainable.
No, and it doesn't wash with the previous era of Marvel, where even from Iron Man, it didn't do great at the box office. It did good, but it didn't do great.
Here's a question for you. Not counting for inflation, what grossed more money? Fantastic Four. 1 second, let me get this up. Make sure I'm not wrong here. What do you think did more? In terms of lifetime gross, let's go domestic. Do you think domestically? Here's one. What did better before inflation? Iron Man or Thor: Love and Thunder?
I wish it was Iron Man, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's one of those gotcha questions, so it's probably going to be the other one.
Y'all think so?
Yeah, I feel like it was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's about double, isn't it?
Yeah, it's substantially higher than the original Iron Man, like by a substantial amount. You look
I lost faith in cinema after hearing that, for real.
Oh yeah, no, by a lot. It's actually kind of wild how many of these films did better than you realize they did. So, for example, another idea. What do you think grossed more domestically? Captain America: Winter Soldier or Fantastic Four: First Steps?
I want to say Winter Soldier because that was a damn good movie.
I agree. I would say Winter Soldier is the better movie. What do you think grossed more, though?
Probably Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you already know the answer, dude. You're not good at hiding it.
It's Fantastic Four, yeah. It's like, it's kind of wild when you look at it that way. Again, domestic, not international, but domestic. Because that's the numbers I have in front of me right now that I'm cheating off of. And you even look at other ones like Deadpool Wolverine. That outgrossed freaking almost everything domestically. I think it's like the 5th highest domestically, and it's like No Way Home, also post Endgame, that's 2nd most domestically. Actually, No Way Home outgrossed Infinity War domestically and Black Panther domestically.
Damn.
Yeah, people. I mean, again, and you may be saying, well, worldwide's what matters more, right? Well, worldwide box office is different because international copyright, the other countries take a cut of the profits. So the most money a film gets back is from its domestic market. That being said, though, China liking it is great, but Disney only gets 20% of the Chinese box office back in its pockets because the Chinese cut is so large. So whatever it gets in China, 20% comes back to Disney. Still money, but it's not as much money as you think it is. Hollywood accounting is fascinating.
This is what I've said this on some of the showcast streams when we've talked about it. Anyone that talks about whether a film was a bomb or whether it was a flop, the only ones that are flops are ones that don't make back their budget at the box office. Anything else you cannot account for because there's merchandise, there's tax incentives, there's all sorts of brand sponsorship deals. I mean, we know Fantastic Four had $170 million in brand sponsorships before it even hit the screen. Exactly. So that film only needed to make 30 million above that to cover its box office, and all the theme parks as well.
Specifically, yeah.
So all of it. Disney know what they're doing. They're not idiots. They know how to squeeze a dollar out of everybody, and so any Lego that is Marvel or any other Disney property, they make money off. Everything that's got a Star Wars logo slapped on it, they make money off. They're making money in ways that you can't even fathom. And all films, really, I mean, I'm sure you're aware of the cartoons in the 80s were basically commercials for toys.
Oh, yeah.
Films are very much like that now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. T-shirts and Disney parks also make a profit. I'll tell you a quick story before we go back to this. I think it's a great example of how Hollywood accounting works and why most people really don't understand it. Like, even people who study it don't understand it because this legally passed through the muster, essentially. Despite... Okay, so here I'm going to tell you the production of this the original Alien film, right? From 1979 or 78. Not 1879, like my dumb thumbs are telling myself. Okay, so 1979. Yep, so 1979. According to Wikipedia, I'm signing this from Wikipedia real quick. The budget was about $14 million at highest. The box office return, and this, by the way, in 1979 money, the box office was $188 million. So, that's counting re-releases, but it made most of it off in the first run of theaters. According to 20th Century Fox, when the movie came out, the film lost money. They insisted, legally, for like half a decade, the film didn't make a profit. Because of Hollywood accounting, because if the film made a profit, they'd have to pay dues to the production studio that they didn't want to pay.
And you'll find that this is the case with pretty much, according to Hollywood accounting, no film's ever been profitable. I think that's pretty much the general rule, especially if one of the performers or the director or the writer has a percentage points deal.
So you don't have to pay them extra money. Exactly. And that's the trick. So a lot of the time, you'll see the trades say, oh, this movie lost $300 million. Like I was seeing Variety saying that Fantastic Four lost money. But meanwhile, you know for a fact, they made all this extra money on the back end through licensing deals before the film even came out. So you know, Disney is reporting technically what they have to for tax reasons, but they made more than they want to let on. It's all scummy. It's really, when you really break it down, it's extremely scummy behavior. I'm going to let a few super chats play real quick because they've been piling up, but yeah, it's scummy.
At Bekwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $2. This whole movie feels desperate.
To an extent, but all movies are desperate, really, to make money. Wave is great.
At the Wave Runner super chatted $2. On your left, ka-chow.
Yeah, for Owen Wilson coming back to Doomsday. I would love that. Ka-chow.
At Andrew Brown 9981 super chatted $2. Ultron should have been created by Hank Pym.
Yeah, he should have. He really should have. I don't like how they made him with Tony Stark making them.
At Scorpion 104 super chatted $5. As someone who's about to create publicly, who do you go for emotional support when facing harsh criticism?
No one. Frankly, which sucks, but I'll tell you straight about
it in a bit. At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $2. Thor was great in Ghostbusters. Answer the call.
He was one of the best parts, along with what's her name? Kate McKinnon.
At Beckwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $5. MCU feels like a show that's 7 seasons after its prime or a bad case of sequelitis.
I think parts of it do. Other parts don't. I think Ant-Man 3 did, but
At Beckwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $2. Best live action Spider-Man?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'll ask the group for that one. I'll pause.
Tobey Maguire.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Variety called Sinners a flop.
Variety's coverage of Sinners is like criminal, I think, at this point. Like, they look at Marty Supreme and go, this is the hit of the year. This is the best movie ever made. It's by far great. But Sinners made more money, and it's like, oh, Sinners is failing. Sinners is failing downwards. I'm going to say Toei Spider-Man is the best live-action Spider-Man, personally. Japanese Spider-Man, best one.
Oh, okay.
I knew you would pick that one.
Yeah,
wait. No. What about Italian Spider-Man?
Italian Spider-Man walked off the set of a porno film, so that is pretty good too. But
if you're going to say Japanese Spider-Man, I'm going to say Nicholas Hammond, just to stir things up.
You know what? Fair. I'll accept it. He worked with a lot. He worked with very little. That early Electric Company.
Yeah, very little. Yeah.
Maybe the Electric Company might win. Actually, that's another competitor. I love how almost everyone has no idea what we're talking about specifically. The Electric Company. Well, here's the thing. What if I told you it's a Spider-Man artiste? Because you're younger than. I think you're the youngest here. What if I told you there's a show back in the 70s that had Spider-Man with Morgan Freeman?
That sounds amazing.
It was for children. It was basically like Sesame Street.
I love that.
Except a little bit less mature than Sesame Street. I'll put it that way.
Here's a test for you, though, Ant. Can you tell me the connection between Spider-Man and Sesame Street?
The connection between Spider-Man and Sesame Street. Was Jim Henson involved with any production of Spider-Man?
No, other way around.
Oh, Spider-Man who helped with Jim Henson.
In a way, yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I'm curious. What was the connection? I'm curious.
Well, I remember this because at the end of every single episode of Muppet Babies, the animated series, the Spider-Man character would come up over Marvel Animation. Marvel Animation made Muppet Babies.
Oh, that's cool, actually. I didn't realize that. That's pretty neat, actually. I like that. I haven't seen Muppet Babies in friggin' ages. So that's actually something I would totally forgotten about. Or rather, when I watched it, it was on Cartoon Network usually, so they kind of cut over some of the credit stuff usually.
Yeah, I don't think it's on Disney Plus because I don't know if you remember, but they used to use a lot of licensed footage, including stuff from Star Wars. Although I suppose Disney could clear that now, but there's a lot of other stuff that they used with permission from the creators, pretty cheap, I think, because it was Jim Henson.
Yeah,
nobody ever said no to him.
No.
But yeah.
But that's kind of
I think there's
Butthead is impossible to find now too, because all the licensed stuff. That was a little different.
I
imagine clearing the rights with Gwar though would be a little easier than I guess Lucasfilm back before they were all bought by the same company.
Yeah.
I guess Gwar might really fight for the rights to have their music videos away from Beavis and Butthead. There's been a lot of Gwar I've seen the last year. It's weird. Okay, so you know what Gwar is. RTC, you know who Gwar is?
No.
Sekiro, you know what Gwar is?
I don't think I have.
I don't think so.
Okay, I can't actually look up Gwar and show it on screen on a stream. YouTube will demonetize me immediately if I do that. Just not because necessarily it's like copyright, which it also is. But because they're like a thrash metal band, I guess is the best way of putting it. You know, I was gonna post an image in the Discord chat of Gwar. I'm not gonna show this on screen, but just to give you an idea. So I want to see like your reaction to this. Is this appropriate? Because some of these are like deeply inappropriate. Is the problem for YouTube? No, this looks okay. This one looks relatively. Yeah, okay, this one's okay. I can show this. All right, let me show this real quick. Sorry, on stream. Because some of them are like not okay for YouTube. But here's an image of Gwar, basically, on group.
Oh, wow.
So the idea is they're a space barbarian metal band. And they have done things that are like so. They were kind of a magnet for controversy in the early 90s. Because they would just do like things that would just piss off like everyone. Like there was one show, like an actual concert where they let's just say he did something with a priest that was deeply inappropriate. I'll just put it like that. It was all part of their production, but they had like a big. It involved accentuated body parts. And that's where I'll end the discussion there. But it was all like a joke. It was all like a gag, but it was like very, very offensive. They were very upset. Yeah. People were very upset. And they actually won they were up for like an Emmy or something. I mean, a Grammy, I think it was. They showed up in costume to accept their Grammy.
From what I understand, they started off as like an art project.
Mm-hmm.
And I know very few people have seen this film, but they do appear in Empire Records.
I was just going to say Empire Records. I have seen Empire Records years ago. That's why I first heard of Gwar, actually, Empire Records.
Although, interestingly, even in that film, they have to pixelate the space vagina that they feed people to.
Yeah, that they did have to do. Yeah. This is not an exaggeration. They actually had that, among other things.
As Jeff Nichols has pointed out in chat as well, they were on Jerry Springer in the 90s. Wow.
And on AVGN, too, which is crazy.
Oh, wait. No, I have seen them then. I saw the video when AVGN was playing with Mario Paint and they showed up for a bit. I think that's the one. Is that the guys you're talking about? I've seen them, but like only in the context of that video. I thought it was kind of neat.
Oh, yeah. They're very neat. They're interesting. And they're all like a bunch of like nerds, basically. Like they're all just a bunch of colossal dorks who like comic books. But they just happen to have like this unhinged production. Again, I can't show even a fraction of the really like intense stuff on YouTube. But you know what? If you really want to look it up, the internet's for free. You can find it pretty easily, I'm sure. Someone has the confidence to post it on YouTube in full, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to disturb everyone. But it is quite funny. I will say that. Anyway, let me just play some super chats real quick. Then come back to the video. Longest avoidance of playing Critical Drinker as possible, I feel like.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. Disney removed the documentary about Toei Spider-Man from Disney Plus, and it sucks because that doc was spectacular.
They did that? The Marvel 616? That sucked. That was a good one. I like that.
At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $2. Marvel made My Little Pony G1.
That they did, which means I have them to thank eventually for Lily Orchard. Crap. Okay.
At Andrew Brown 9981 super chatted $5. Did you know Charlie Brown kicked the football once thanks to Spider-Man? It was drawn by Josh Romita SR.
I didn't realize that Josh Romita Sr. did that. That's pretty fun. I like that. That's cool.
At the Waverunner super chatted $5. The biggest thing I know about Gwar is their collaboration with a certain reptilian adult toy company where they have a toy with a cute frog face.
Yes, the one that produces the dragon. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
At Jeff Pyatt 2K4 super chatted $2. Gwar was on AVGN on YouTube.
That's right, they were.
At Nick Wolf 3885 super chatted $4.99. Best Spider-Man is Dan Poole from the 90s fan film Green Goblin's Last Stand.
Fair. That's fair,
Crazy
actually.
MF climbed a real building with a rope and a dream for a camera shot.
That's true. Did you ever see this? The fan film Green Goblin's Last Stand? Ryan probably has.
Yeah.
Ryan, you have it. Okay, so I want you to imagine something real quick. I'm going to show you another screen cap real quick because this is beautiful. I'm just going to try finding... Yeah, so here's a screen cap of... and y'all can find this online pretty easily. This is the friggin' fan film right here. It is rough, but like in the most unhinged, beautiful way possible. This was made literally with nothing but a dream and like an actual risk to your physical safety. You know how they did the web slinging scenes in this fan film? Sekiro Ortiz?
Which fan film?
Who?
Green Goblin's Last Stand. Here's how they did the web swinging scenes. They got a rope in New York City and they swung on it 30 or 40 feet above the ground. That's how they did it. Oh. They actually just put their lives at risk for a freaking fan film.
Love the dedication. Love human artists.
There is an unhinged quality to this movie that I kind of admire, but it's also like, it's all on YouTube, but it's like nuts. Like there's a reason we have, there are safety regulations they gleefully ignored in the pursuit of making a silly fan film. Like, there's a bit of a madness to it. If you watch it, they're a little unhinged, which I kind of admire. But anyway, back to Critical Drinker. We're only a minute and a half into this, and we've done everything but watch it. So I feel it's on brand.
Yeah,
though.
we should probably get to his point, I guess.
Yeah. To make fun of it.
But then you find out they're playing one last farewell gig in your hometown. You're probably going to go see them for old time's sake, if nothing else. And because the entire movie's predicated on which nostalgia bait characters and actors they're able to get back, the teasers they've released so far have reflected that. The first one focused on the return of Steve Rogers for the first time in 6 years, probably the worst kept secret in movie making. I guess Captain Falcon Man wasn't the big hit they hoped for, eh?
He's out of line. But he's right.
It's almost like...
Okay, Ortiz, go for it.
No, I don't think I can say this on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Maybe go around the one thing you can't say on YouTube, but everything else you can say.
He should just, play a video game and fall off a bridge.
So you want to play Minecraft with him, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to hit him with the axe.
Yeah, in Minecraft, of course. Yeah, over a lava pit in Minecraft, in the Nether.
Yeah,
in Minecraft.
Yeah. Anyway,
there you go.
Did you know that like the FBI don't qualify that defense anymore? They actually wrote protocols that you have to ignore it when they say like in Minecraft or in a video game that's just like a loophole, an exploit in the design.
So the FBI is going to attack us for talking about playing in the Nether.
I'm saying no. Yeah, sure. They actually will. Yeah.
Jesus, man, they really.
They already figured out Naruto running as well. Like they figured out.
They want to get rid of all the fun. We can't Naruto run into the Nether anymore over a lava pit. Ugh. That's terrible. Yeah, chat is pointing this out. Drinker did have an... Oh, hey, what's going on? Hi, CHD. They did call Hydra understandable while trying to secure world peace. So, Critical Drinker is... his perspective on what's acceptable to say is very skewed. Also, I will say this. I didn't love Cap 4. I've gone on record saying I don't love Cap 4. Falcon Winter Soldier was fine until the last episode. Like, that show was good until, like, it ended, I think. I feel the last episode kind of... The sales deflated a lot from what they were showing.
I feel like Anthony Mackie's really been cursed with his two projects.
Yeah, and even then, like, both Falcon and Soldier and Cap 4 were plagued with reshoots and plagued with revisions. It really sucks. Like, he's been given a shit hand. It's not his fault. It's just the luck of the draw, I guess. Did you see the production sketches for Cap 4 that they rejected?
Yeah.
They look incredible. They look awesome. Like that looks amazing.
I just wish they'd had more confidence in their own sort of ideas with it and stuck to their guns.
Yeah.
And although the one genuine criticism I got is they made Anthony Mackie less charismatic than he is in real life.
Yeah, they took a lot of his like bravado out of those films.
Because if you watch him in interviews, he is probably the most charismatic person behind like Robert Downey Jr. as far as the MCU goes.
Easily. They make him too serious. And even has that like charisma in the early stuff too. Like he has those jokes in like Winter Soldier, Civil War, where it works. But like I think like Cap 4, they really deflate his, and a lot of that has to do with the focus. When he's playing off of Bucky, you can see it. I think that's when he's best.
Yeah, 100%.
His Sebastian Stan. That's why I think Doomsday will be more entertaining because he'll be actually like against him in some ways. Also, Sebastian Stan might be Harvey Dent now.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Easy.
That could be fun. If that casting is, because he's in final talks for Batman Part 2. We know that Scarlett Johansson probably is going to be playing his wife, which is interesting. And if you've read The Long Halloween, you know it's a good idea. But we'll see.
When I first heard the news of his casting, I thought they might have put him as Hush. I thought he might have been...
You thought Hush?
Yeah, I thought that might be good casting, but obviously they're going a different way with it.
I can see Hush, but I can see him as Hush, but I'll be honest, I think Hush sucks. I don't like Hush as a character.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah, like that's one character I'm like, I really can't stand Hush. I think he's such an overrated villain. One video I want to do at some point is just making fun of Hush, but I think someone beat me to it, so it's like I gotta think of a new angle for it.
Although thinking about it, if Matt Reeves is a big fan of Once Upon a Time, then it's possible that Sebastian Stan might be reprising his role as the Mad Hatter.
Oh my god, that'd be great!
Deep cut reference. If
can you imagine the big villain of freaking Batman Part 2 is just the Mad Hatter? That would be great.
I would love it. Yeah.
Oh, no heartbeat. It'd be amazing. Like that's such out of unorthodox casting. I would love that. Anyway, let's keep going with this.
Like a character is more than just the clothes they wear or the shield they carry, and copy-pasting them onto someone else doesn't transfer the emotional investment you had in the original. Especially when the new guy is used as a cheap excuse to lecture you about how domestic terrorism is actually good and everyone needs to do better, without providing any actual ideas or solutions of his own.
How did you see that scene and take that as your conclusion? Like, what? Also, domestic terrorism, they're not domestic. They're not from America.
Yeah, they're international terrorists. They're just terrorists, in fact.
Yeah, they're across national boundaries. It's like, what? Like, I know the scene is easy to criticize. This is like one of the weakest parts of that episode, but like, at least know what happened in it. Hell, if anything, the domestic terrorist is like U.S. agent. Actually, that's the closest we get to that.
Yeah, he's the I mean, it's possible that Trickle Drinker didn't actually watch it. He's got a bit of a track record of doing that, but he must recognise that the lead villain in it, the girl, is British. He must be able to spot that she's not got an American accent in it. You would have thought, but maybe not.
You would think that would be something that pops out that's noticeable, but I guess not. Or that they're going to other countries throughout the whole show. That's like one of the core reoccurring elements. I don't know. A small oversight on Drinker's part, I guess.
You have no
idea. That gets in the way of some
how
propaganda, though.
I mean, this scene is not good, but like not for the reasons he specifically said. I think it is an oversimplification. I think it's really like a cruddy sequence that like deeply oversimplifies the role of the characters, but like it does feel pandery, but like because it could have been better written. Like it could have been so much better written. But like it's a bad ending to what was otherwise I think a pretty decent series, I think. I think it just fumbles the ball at the end.
I think they did an excellent job with the John Walker character in giving him a really good strong arc.
Yeah.
I think Bucky and Falcon had a really good relationship in it. But yeah, you're right.
Zemo.
I mean, the fact that this scene, Zemo's dancing, brilliant.
Great. But the last
the fact that this whole scene just takes place on a street as well.
Yeah, this could have been one of those like scenes that if it was like in like a courtroom or in like a big like this needed like more. Like you could take elements of this speech, but it needed another write. It needed another draft, is what it needed. It needed a little more time in the kitchen to cook the writing of this sequence.
Wait, are you talking about the part where he says, hey, "You got to do better, Senator"?
Yes, that part. Yeah,
I hated that part. I hate it so much. Like, because you understand, like in the story, the logistics of what happened was deeply concerning, because you had like a whole population of people that vanished off the face of the earth, and all their lives got upended by people that had to like come in to fix the economy. And then it's like, I mean, you can't just wear someone else's life like a skin suit, you know? It's yeah.
How about the skin suit part? For me, it's more the idea that it's this complex issue that needs a complex solution, and you're addressing it by just saying, "Do better." Like, no, give like a specific, like tailor suited to the situation, not like some general speech. Give like a specific hard hitting, but that takes saying something. That's the issue. To give a
America
good speech,
would never be ready for whatever answer he gives, though. That's the issue.
That's good then. They shouldn't be ready. You should be controversial. I think with a story like this, there should be some stance, some line in the sand that you have to anchor yourself to make a story about like displaced peoples and housing crises and resource management. And there was a pandemic storyline that was cut from the whole series. I think does weaken it quite a bit, but there's so much more specificity they needed to incorporate that they just failed or stumbled at, or just not give a speech at all. You don't need this scene could be cut. Like you don't need this sequence. You can just have a very simple back and forth, like a couple sentences. It doesn't have to be a whole speech. I don't know. Either give a good speech that's specific and meaningful and impactful, or say nothing at all. That's my solution to this sequence. It would solve a lot of problems, in my opinion. Anyway, but let's keep going.
Situation is, you know what? You're right. And that's a good thing.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Let's be honest here, we all knew Chris Evans was going to come back to the MCU at some point. You can only say no to those big Marvel paychecks and all that media exposure for so long. And well, it's not like he's been drowning in blockbuster movie success since Endgame. The teaser depicts him as a...
He did have a big payday for the red one, though.
Yes, yeah. And to be honest, that's not an awful film. I don't know. I know it's probably too big a budget. It's a fun film.
It was fun enough. I don't think it needed to be $250 million. But then again, 50 of that probably went to The Rock exclusively. So I guess that's why it was so expensive.
And he'd already returned to the MCU. He was in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Exactly. Yeah, this is even the first time he's showing back up. And
he was in Knives Out. That was really good for him.
Knives Out was excellent. But that was during when he was in the MCU, because that came out between Infinity War and Endgame. So I guess that wouldn't count.
And they don't like Knives Out either, these people.
Which is ridiculous. Knives Out's fantastic. Their Rian Johnson hatred blinds them to one of the best films in the last 10 years. Love Knives Out. Knives Out will be relevant in Friday's video, by the way, chat. So you got that to look forward to, along with Columbo. That's your second hint as to what it's about.
You better be careful with Columbo. You're on thin ice with me. If you get anything wrong, I'll be messaging you
I await your messages for the inevitable drive to a Columbo collab. Then, anyway, back to this.
A loving father reluctantly called back to the fight to help save the world.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Wait a second. A capable, loving, successful, aspirational father figure in a Disney movie?
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
What kind of bizarro world are we living in here? Next you'll be telling me that Thor isn't portrayed as a goofy joke.
So that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy.
He's just making assumptions based off of the teasers. We still don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't. We can assume he's probably going to be a loving dad just because it's Captain America, but even still, like, the thing with Critical Drinker is that is noteworthy is he's convinced that Disney hates traditional families. That's his big grift. This is not true. Disney is as conservative as a company can get, and always has been. Anyone who says Disney is woke or anything like that has no idea what they're talking about. But the narrative that it's woke is a big one that the grifters love to push. And the big thing they say is the enemy of wokeness is traditional family structure.
It's also one of those appeal to the sort of the jokey criticism of Disney that they always kill off the parents.
Exactly.
Which is true, but then a lot of their stories are based on sort of hundreds of year old folk stories where the parents did meet sticky ends.
Exactly.
So,
and like, if you really want to talk about like parental figures that are loving and careful, I would make the argument that Beauty and the Beast's remake made the movie more boring by making the father more capable. Maurice was better when he was a nutty professor, a nutty like inventor type, and they made him more boring by making him less absurd. Because he's just like a dad. He's just Kevin Kline, at this point, which is fine. I like Kevin Kline mostly, but like, I don't know, like they took something away of making him more grounded. So even then, one of the biggest Disney films of the last 10 years in terms of box office return, does the thing you're saying Disney never does. You look at even their most recent successes. Strange World no one saw, but there's a bunch of dads in that. It's all about parents trying to be the best they can be, learning and growing and, what have you. Not a good movie, but that's the plot of it.
Even within the MCU, I mean, Tony Stark and Pepper Potts are very loving parents.
Yeah, exactly. And that was only 6 years ago when they had that. So it's not that long ago. It's not like it's that unusual. Yeah. Like, really, what bad fathers do they have in the MCU? Well, aside from
Thanos, who's a villain?
That's a good example. Hank Pym isn't Hank Pym in the films. He's more like level-headed. He's pretty normal. I'd say Ego's bad. Sure, okay. Granted.
Again, another villain.
Another villain, exactly. So there's not a whole lot of examples of fathers in the MCU. And I don't think it's a bad idea to have dads as a core focus in the MCU. Being one myself, I kind of like that. But it's also an example of them growing with their audience,
For all of our criticism about Thor: Love and Thunder, it's essentially about a father's love for his child and then an adopted father's love for his child.
Exactly. And I think that's the best part of the
stick
film.
the landing, but
yeah.
And
it's the best part of the film. I think Christian Bale should have gotten a better script, but he's really great with what they give him. But like, again, it's just very little he takes a mile with. But the moments where
to be fair, I think his script was fine. It was other people's scripts.
That's
I think
also fair. Yeah. He was in a different movie, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's so jarring watching that again and going like, wow, Christian Bale is like really good in this movie. And like, everyone else is not. Like, by a mile. What's going on here? Like, everyone else is like goofing around and laughing and being all silly. And like, Christian Bale is like going from like tragic to grief-stricken to haunting to terrifying and like to mockery. And it's like, it's all in the same couple of scenes. It's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. I think it's really interesting how they did that. Anyway, but yeah, so fatherhood's always been a thing. And Odin also. Odin, okay, bad example. Odin might not be a good example of a good father.
Well, no, but accurate, mostly accurate to the Norse mythology.
That's true. Yeah, Odin's chaotic.
Yeah. But some people in chat have pointed out Scott and Clint as well are both fantastic father figures.
Yeah, Scott Lang is probably the first major dad in the MCU. He's great. Flint is great. There's a lot of good dads. A lot of good dads. Yeah, Clint, not Flint. Well, Flint Marko. Yeah, another good dad. There we go, another dad in the MCU technically. Flint Marko from Spider-Man. Though it has no bearing on what happens in the whole film. Anyway. Oh, Yondu. Yeah, great example. Yondu is great. Yeah, I was seeing in the chat. Let's play some super chats real quick. The best lines is Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Watch Twisted Metal for great Anthony Mackie stuff.
Yes. Yes, Twisted Metal's great.
At David Deister 4145 super chatted $20.
Thank you so much for
Hollywood
super chat,
Elites. Keep wailing, but you will not knock down our wall. Keep wailing, but she isn't going to fall. It plain to see. Your brains are very small to think wailing will be knocking down our wall.
There you go. So, there you go.
At Austin LaPlante 4203 super chatted $5. Anthony Mackie is a good actor with a bad agent. He is always solid in whatever he is in.
I don't know if it's a bad agent. He gets paid. You know, he gets his cash.
At Beckwa Sambird 3481 super chatted $2. I thought Batman 2 was gonna be about Mr. Freeze.
Nope, not anymore.
At Honcho super chatted $1.99. Hush to a spit on that thing.
There you go.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Comic Crackle did a great vid about Batman. Hush.
Yeah, I know. That took the muster out of me trying to make one myself.
At Beckwa Sambird 3481 super chatted $2. Critical Drinker. You should do better.
You should do better. Critical Drinker.
At Olivia _Williams _purple _fairy super chatted $3.61. So I got bullseye. Their excitement is perceived attention on white men.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just white guys are in charge now.
At the Waverunner super chatted $5. Someone just pointed out Guardians 2 is about fatherhood.
Yes.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
Best line in the entire movie. Amazing
At
line.
Olivia _Williams _purple _fairy super chatted $1.44. I'd say Odin tried to be a good father.
Odin tries. I will give you that. He tries. And he made mistakes, but he tries his best. That's a key element with Odin I think is interesting. The trying to be better. Mm-hmm. I do agree with you on that one. Okay, let's keep going with this. Let's see what we go.
Oh my god. Taika Waititi must be spinning in his grave right now. Wait, what do you mean he's not dead? Oh, sorry, it's just his career that's dead. You know, as much as the first two Thor movies took themselves a little too seriously and hadn't quite figured out how to use the character properly, the more I think about it, the more I realise I'd rather watch their earnest but clumsy attempts to live up to the Shakespearean grandeur of the God of Thunder than ever subject myself to farcical, self-deprecating sludge like Love and Thunder. Say what you want about them, but there's a kind of simplistic sincerity and honesty to their take on Thor, instead of making him the butt of endless jokes and cheap, ironic deconstruction.
Hang on a
Did
second.
you watch Thor the Dark World recently? I just want to see. There's a scene where he hangs up his... There's a joke where he hangs the hammer up on the coat rack. And then there's... The entire movie is like... Basically jokes about Thor. Like bad jokes about Thor. What?
Not just that, but he's used exactly this line of dialogue in a video that he released a couple of... I can't remember what the video was, but...
Was it the Predator Badlands video?
Possibly. It was possibly that one, but it was the old say what you want about this, that, and the other, but at least it was an earnest attempt at something. He's literally got about 10 ideas that he's recycled throughout his entire YouTube career.
Yeah.
He's got 10 things that he thinks are good points, and this is one that he's recycled from a very recent video.
Yeah, well, the idea is, I think it might be the Predator film, because he has said it before, where, no, it might be, no, you know what it was? It was about Superman. It was about Superman, and
yes.
talking about the Zack Snyder's stuff, because I cited
That's
that
right.
in my Snyder video. Yeah.
It was the Supergirl trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Where it's like, say what you will about... Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. Let me bring up because I think I know the exact clip, because I just cited it in a video recently. Right here. This is it.
This movie is a wacky, irreverent adventure about a dysfunctional, loose cannon protagonist with a love of dancing and 1980s pop music who uses snarky humor in a trench coat when she's basically immune to temperature. Oh right, that's why. Time for a fight scene, I guess. Let's assemble...
Oh, right here, I'm sorry. Right here. This is exactly it.
In favor of Man of Steel. That's not an endorsement of Man of Steel, it's an indictment of James Gunn's Superman and everything that it represents. Because when you get right down to it, I honestly think most people would choose deeply flawed sincerity over polished duplicity. What I'm trying to say with all this pretentious bullshit...
Right here, I'm sorry. I was a little too late.
He's sincerely trying to show you who he is and what matters to him as a filmmaker.
Yeah, that's it.
Right here we go. It's the exact line.
Zack Snyder's faults as a storyteller, and believe me, there are many. One thing you can't accuse the guy of is insincerity. His films might be slow, bloated, self-important, dour, and overly serious.
That's right here, sorry. Sorry, I keep going. No,
in a James Gunn movie because it all feels like a setup for one big joke. And well, I think people are starting to feel it. For all Zack Snyder's faults as a storyteller, and believe me, there are many, one thing you can't accuse the guy of is insincerity. His films might be slow, bloated, self-important, dour, and overly serious, but you can tell he's 100% committed to the story he's telling. And there's a kind of simplistic honesty in what he does. He's sincerely trying to show you who he is and what matters to him as a filmmaker. We even ran a poll on Open Bar a few weeks.
Yeah, it's the same. It's same sentiment. It's the same idea. Not verbatim, but it is very similar.
Say what you want about these films that people don't like, but at least they're not as bad as this film that I don't like and you shouldn't like either. That's the basic sentiment.
Yeah, that just came out now. New thing bad, old thing good. Even if old thing was also bad, you know. And it's like, you know. It's totally glossing over the flaws. I would make the argument, personally, that Thor the Dark World is the worst MCU film. By a substantial distance. I think the closest contender is Ant-Man 4. For the bottom. I think those two are the weakest links. But none of them are as bad as some of Snyder's films. Because at least they're watchable. Snyder's worst stuff is unwatchable. Rebel Moon is painful. Have you all seen Rebel Moon?
I have not heard bad things about it.
I have not.
You are too kind to yourselves. You should be more cruel to yourself like I am. And subject yourself to torture.
I do think Zack Snyder does do bangers when he does do bangers. Like he has this ultra self-serious like attitude that I think is lacking in a lot of modern Hollywood, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. He has a good...
I love self-serious. I'm self-serious. I mean, even when I joke, I'm self-serious. It's you know...
You know, there's a difference, I think between... I'm sorry, get you off there, Ryan. Go for it.
And I was just going to say, I think he's an incredibly visually gifted storyteller. I mean, he is really good at visuals. But I think he just lacks the depth of a good storyteller. And I think that's why whenever he's more involved in the script, it tends to come off worse.
Yeah. I think the big issue also is character writing. Snyder is not good at making characters that feel like they drive narrative. He's much better at making plots that push characters onward. And if the plot isn't good enough, that's a problem. Snyder is best when someone else is writing his scripts. Like his best films are written by someone else. His worst films are the ones he wrote.
Did he write Sucker Punch?
He did not write. Let me double check that actually. Before I say that for sure, I don't think he did, but let me double check that.
I actually did like a D&D campaign loosely referencing like that whole movie.
Okay, so so story by Zack Snyder, screenplay by Zack Snyder and Steve Shibuya. So he co-wrote it with someone else, which is probably for the best. He was not the sole credit of this on the screenplay, but which probably means he came up with the initial idea and someone punched it up with like specific dialogue and all that. I would say Sucker Punch is good because it's not really a story. It's more of a sequence of events. That's one that allows him to showcase his events because it's style as substance as opposed to style over substance. But like Rebel Moon, Army of the Dead, those are some of his weakest ones because it's purely him. In my opinion, anyway. Okay, back to this now. Let's see how he tries this. Also, he has mentioned Ragnarok. He says Thor, Love and Thunder. Like, yeah, Love and Thunder people don't like, but Ragnarok's still pretty well liked in general.
In fact, I do believe I speak for the entire world when I say we are so fucking done with having our heroes and our stories and our mythologies deconstructed and mocked. They've been deconstructed to the point where there's literally nothing left of them. And for what? So that
I don't think he even knows what deconstructed even means. Like,
no, I guarantee it.
Yeah, because Love and Thunder's problem was not that it deconstructed Thor; it was that it made it a joke. You know, like that's the issue. He made it. Waititi made it too much of a joke. It has nothing to do with deconstruction, because deconstruction is a very specific thing. It was just a gag. Like, the only one you can argue is deconstructed, that they say is deconstructed constantly, is someone like Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. That's an example of deconstruction, and even then it's very light deconstruction. But it's very uncommon.
I would actually say as well that Ragnarok is probably more of a deconstruction of the Thor character than any of the other Thor films.
Agreed.
We
need to have like a discussion about Fallout someday. Like, I think that could have some interesting discussion.
Fallout certainly down the road. That would be fun. But in regards to deconstruction, like, deconstruction means a very specific thing, to take apart the elements of a character and see what makes them function. It does not mean tearing it down or bringing them down. It means taking a look at the parts that function in the story and examining them, seeing how they work in conjunction with each other and why they're each individually valuable. Just breaking something down is not enough. That's just destroying something.
And I don't think Marvel has fully deconstructed any of its heroes. The closest it's come, I would say, with Captain America would probably be Winter Soldier. He's the biggest deconstruction because
I'd say Winter Soldier.
His entire worldview has shifted, yeah. And then Iron Man 3, again, which I love. I know not everybody got on with. I think that's a character deconstruct. But really, that's it of the Marvel characters.
I would also add Wakanda Forever, but for Shuri. That's the problem. It's not very, and Shuri just isn't a very well established. She had some moments early on, but like they really dove into both her character and her personality, but also her grief in Wakanda Forever. And I think that's one of the reasons why that film is kind of hard to talk about, because it is such a profoundly bleak movie, on a lot of levels. Yeah. Like, it's not a fun movie to revisit. Like, it's very morose for obvious reasons, I think. But yeah, no. So I think it's a factor. But again, who knows? Anyway, back to this.
Some wanky, pretentious video essayist can jerk off to the ironic postmodernist reflection of today's nihilistic, morally grey world.
Son of a bitch!
There I am.
Fuck off, wanky, pretentious video essayists. Sometimes it's okay for a hero to just be a fucking hero. Anyway, I digress.
But that's the thing about deconstruction that's valuable, though. It shows how a hero is a hero. Like, I don't think you know what the word means, dude. That's the problem. Like, here's the thing. A hero can be a hero, yeah. It's how they're a hero that's interesting. What he's describing is a dark and edgy reimagining. He's describing a Frank Miller treatment, which is ironically what he's supporting with Zack Snyder coming back.
Yeah.
Which is funny how that works out, isn't it? Like, Zack Snyder does more of that than... Zack Snyder deconstructs his characters a little too much, I think. Because I don't know if he knows what he's doing half the time.
Yeah, well, I don't think he knows how to reassemble them in any.
I think I cracked the code.
You cracked the code.
I think I cracked.
Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. So Critical Drinker's issue is that he has a particular palette when it comes to the way themes, concepts, and heroes are presented, and when someone doesn't take them seriously when talking about them, like they add too many jokes, or they have the person kind of do a thing that's either the antithesis of what they're about or whatever, then he calls it deconstruction. But I think he over-applies it only to a particular palette that gets presented to him, even when that palette begins to not do the thing of which he is accusing them of doing. I think he would be fine with a deconstruction if it was like, let's say, a Zack Snyder-esque kind of, being a hero is important, but it's also really tricky. I have to hack in all the phones to do the sonar to find Joker, like shit like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like raises questions. But I think what he wants is like more dark, broody, gritty, kind of like early 2000s coded, I think.
Okay.
I think also another. I think I mostly agree with that. Yeah. I think something else is I just don't think he understands what he's looking at, because
that's the big thing.
What has become abundantly clear is that his favorite film, I think, of all time is probably Predator. But that's a massive deconstruction of the action hero genre,
and massively jokey, like massively jokey,
hugely jokey. Yeah, huge amount of jokes and one-liners in it. It's all about this commando unit being initially tricked to do some shady CIA work, and then it's a deconstruction of the horror genre by turning the final girl into a man, and a deconstruction of the action film by turning all the action heroes into useless pawns. So,
and how all the weapons they have on their personhood don't help actually in beating this enemy. It's all about, being less advanced and being like more primitive and going back to nature, as opposed to all the tools that we use to survive and fight in our modern warfare. Oh, do you have any opinion on this too, by the way? I feel like we've been talking a lot, but we've kind of haven't given you a chance to talk as much.
I don't have any opinions on it.
Fair. That's fair. I don't want to monopolize the conversation, so I'll make sure that... But anyway, so... I think the big thing is he doesn't know what he's talking about. I think that's what it comes down to. And it's always coincidental how movies that have more black people tend to be the ones he's more critical of. Again, don't forget, he refused to review Sinners on his main channel. He put it on his side channel.
Again, the weird hypocrisy is the Predator's entire cast has only 2 white actors, and of those, only one of them's American.
Yeah.
He's got 2 black actors, one, and I think 2 Native Americans. I think Richard Chavez might be Latin American.
Wait, then
what's...
Wait, so hang on. There's Shane Black, there's
Jesse
Ventura, and there's Arnold. Those are 3 white guys.
Yeah, sorry, I did forget about Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, you forgot about a sexual Tyrannosaurus? This stuff will make you a sexual Tyrannosaurus. I just love that stupid line. It's so great.
It was
so dumb.
Funny.
I love it. But Predator wasn't well received when it came out. People forget this. The original Predator was not liked by general people. It was kind of dismissed. It became a classic on video, like on TV airings. It was not. Even its sequel was seen as like kind of an embarrassment, honestly. Like they couldn't even get Arnold back. Arnold didn't want to show back up for it. Like he didn't want to come back for Predator 2. That's the thing people forget. Like no one really cared about Predator at that time. It became popular over time, but not immediately. It was seen as like an Alien knockoff. A bad one, actually. Anyway, I love Predator, so I don't agree with that, but that was the mindset at the time. Anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. I sorry, I'm writing a video.
No, I hear you.
So I'm
working on your own personal projects when we're talking about the critical drinker.
not literally this minute, but
I'm being sarcastic. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. Anyway, back to this.
Like the Steve Rogers teaser, Thor is also depicted as the archetype of a father living a peaceful life, forced to take up arms once more to defend everything he loves. It's a surprisingly honest, heartfelt, sincere, dramatic scene that just works. No Valkyrie with her shit-eating smirk to put him down, no retarded rock monster making quippy observations.
Why is Valkyrie the thing you're drawing an attention to first? The character that people generally like.
I wonder why the black Valkyrie.
The black lesbian is the character who you have an issue with. Or is she bisexual or lesbian? I'm not entirely sure.
She's supposed to be bisexual.
She's bisexual.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That works. That makes sense. Yeah. No, she gives strong bi vibes.
Yeah, I wonder why he doesn't like that character.
Yeah,
Weird.
Can't imagine why. Yeah, sure, there's no reason particularly, But it's funny he singles Valkyrie out, despite people generally liking Valkyrie. Like even in Love and Thunder, people don't have an issue with Valkyrie all that much. Korg, sure, but like, just odd, just an odd little quinky dink there.
About everything that's happening. No Jane Foster trying to outdo him like a walking inferiority complex. Just a man, older and wiser and scarred by past battles, looking deep inside for the strength to go into the fray one more time. The third teaser, which I can't show yet because it hasn't been released on YouTube and I don't want to get sued, focuses on Professor X and Magneto agreeing to work together. Two old friends and enemies with a lifetime of baggage and conflicting ideologies behind them, learning to put aside their differences and work together for the greater goods. Again, it's simple but effective stuff. No shitty jokes, no ironic quips, no girl bosses to
Why is that? Hang on a second. Hang on a second here. Let's look right here. Why is this the scene you're saying quips about? This is the scene where Peter Parker lifts up the rubble of a whole building off of his shoulders to get out of it. That's a pretty serious scene. Also, as people in the chat are pointing out, Jane Foster's not in this movie because she's dead. She died of cancer in the last movie. Mm-hmm. She's in Valhalla. She's pretty dead.
But also, now that the X-Men teaser has been released, it's definitely suggested, and this is all subtext, but it's definitely suggested that they might be a little bit more than friends. They're a little bit closer than just two old pals working together.
That hand-holding is very suggestive, I agree. Hasn't it always... Look, just as well as I do, is if they ever played up that particular subtext of the relationship more than they did in First Class, Drinker would be like, who could have seen that? No one's ever talked about this before. Meanwhile, like, it's been like one of the most widely discussed possibly queer relationships in comics since like the freaking 90s, but whatever. It's like it's not even subtext, it's just text at this point. Like Ian McKellen's been joking about it since he was cast.
Yeah, and the Fox X-Men has always really been a substitute for sexual politics and how gay people were treated. And that's
Have you tried not being a mutant?
Exactly.
That scene is like the most gay coded like comment possible. But again, it's just odd the clips they're choosing. Also, right here,
no ironic quips, no girl bosses to undermine the moment. Just
how is Black Widow dying undermining the moment of Black Widow dying?
I mean, that is the moment.
Yeah, girl bosses undermine the moment. She is the one who dies. She is the moment. How can she undermine her own moment by dying, and it undermines her moment of dying? Like the logic here isn't logicking. Like you could have shown so many other characters in this moment, but you chose this one specifically.
I'm surprised it's not Captain Marvel, to be honest, because that's the go-to. But
that would have been easy.
This is no go on.
No, I'm gonna say it's staggering that he's choosing these examples because like these aren't even good go-to examples for the grifters. You know, like there's better ones they can use. I'm stunned by the ones they're choosing because it's like he has better examples than this. Like if he showed Captain Marvel, there's moments where you can go, yeah, Captain Marvel undermined this moment with something. You can make the argument. I don't agree with it, but you can make the argument. Black Widow dying, undermining the moment of Black Widow dying, I can only assume he just thought, oh, it's a scene from Endgame and I have limited clips. That's the only thing I can think of because he's used the same few clips repeatedly.
This is a common problem with Drinker's videos. His editing choices, whether he's doing it or somebody else is doing it for him, are horrific. Yeah. We identified it in his video about masculinity, why men suck now, and he's talking about the old Hollywood with a stoic man, and all the clips he's using. I mean, if I just tell you, one of them is from Lethal Weapon, and he's claiming that Mel Gibson's character is an example of a stoic man.
Mel Gibson's in Lethal Weapon, stoic. The guy who cries at his wife's grave and screams, "I'm crazy, I'm nuts," repeatedly throughout the movie. He's the stoic.
Yep, the guy who we literally see trying to off himself every night and making that decision. He's a perfect example of Eagle Drinker's idea of a stoic man.
I mean, granted, he is limited with the 80s. He could have done like, I mean, he was never going to do like a Casablanca or Maltese Falcon. Or
he used a black and white clip. He used Montgomery Clift as an example, which, if you know anything about Montgomery Clift, you'd know why that's a terrible example of stoicism as well.
I've not seen Montgomery Clift, but I know enough about it to know that's a terrible idea. I couldn't tell you specifically why, but I know enough about that movie to be like, yeah, no way.
Oh, that's right. Another clip he used was James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause.
That was stoic. He's like a whole. No way. No, that's so freaking of really. Hell, I mean,
does he know what the word stoic actually means? Because that's the real question at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows any of these words that he's using.
He really does. Like, he could have used like Marlon Brando in any number of his films. Like, granted, Brando was nuts, but like that would have been a better example than anything James Dean ever did. I mean, Jesus. Or John Wayne. There's your go-to. Or Clint Eastwood. Those are easy examples. You had to work. You had to go out of. Or even the one example I thought he was going to use initially was Indiana Jones. Even that would have been a bad example because he can be like nutty sometimes too, or out of his element, or frantic when he's around snakes. But like, even then, like, Jesus. Like, listen, I'm not a film historian or anything, but like. The problem is they always got the stoic man. Their obsession with stoicism, their fetishization for stoicism is so ridiculous because so often these characters have multiple dimensions to them because they're written like people, and people have dimensions. They have elements. They have contradictory components to them. Before I play Super Chat, does anyone else have any comments about this?
Let men feel.
Yep. Yeah. Let men have emotions. Like, okay, I'll go on a bit of a brief tangent about this. One of the best example, I was talking to another creator right now of a few weeks ago about Gundam. If you have seen anything I've said on Blue Sky, you know exactly who this creator is. And she mentioned how Amuro Ray is a lot like Shinji Ikari. Where they're both like emotionally like unstable boys basically put into war, and how that instability makes them so much more interesting. And it's true. It really is true. Like it's amazing how many anime have like characters who are young, who act young. And it's like that element makes them so much more human. Anyway, let me play some super chats real quick. I should say.
At King_Roulette super chatted $4.90. Can I recommend a video for you to watch in a future stream or even by yourself?
Yeah.
By Moon Channel, why is K-On so popular with Twitter Nazis?
Seen it? I would react to that one in a heartbeat. That's a good point. K-On is bizarrely
At Ends
popular
Vanessa
with Nazis.
Vengeance super chatted $5. Drinker makes it too obvious he hasn't read the comics these stories are based on.
Right? Very much so. A lot.
At Bekwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $5. I do like how Hush, the comic, addresses the classic, why doesn't Batman kill the Joker, talking point.
I agree. That is a good element of how... that's a good part of Hush. I like the comic Hush. I just don't like the character
At Olivia
Hush.
_Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $3.61. I said it before, I'd rather gauge my eyes than watch Man of Steel while the new Superman movie is quite good.
Agreed. Man of Steel isn't terrible, but it's not great.
At
I think it grappled with
super chatted $5.
It's all good. There's a lot of
Homer
super chats
Simpson
coming.
voice. Did anybody see that movie Rebel Moon? Everyone. No. Yes. I mean no.
Yeah, that's how it feels whenever I talk about Rebel Moon. No one's seen this fucking movie.
At Jonathan Frostathan super chatted $10. Drinker in 5 years. Say whatever you want about James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, but I'd rather James Gunn go and James Gunn another James Gunn movie than deal with this insincere stoic shtick.
He would, though. He will change his tune in a few years, guaranteed.
At Bekwa Samebird 3481 super chatted $2. Did Zach do the screenplay for 300?
I mean, technically, that would be Frank Miller. I think did all the. It's just line for line.
At WC Wit super chatted $2. Wakanda Forever is a big budget cinematic wake.
It really is. That movie's rough, man. It's not easy to watch that one.
At King_Rollet super chatted $1.99. Don't think CD puts any thought with showing clips.
He really doesn't. I think it's just thoughtless. I think he just thought, oh, woman, put on screen. And there you go. But yeah, no. So let's dive right back in. We have about 4 minutes left, so we'll get through it eventually.
Two people we know and care about having a scene together that's actually allowed to breathe and sink in.
No way!
Wait, did you just use Thor Ragnarok as a scene that lets people sink in? Weren't you just criticizing Thor Ragnarok? Again, I digress. Like right here, this shot right here is from Thor Ragnarok. An example of a scene letting you sink in. That's a Taika Waititi film. You're just saying Taika Waititi is bad, but now Taika Waititi is good? Jesus. That's a little inconsistency there, Drinker. Just a thought.
No way! Yes way!
Jesus H. Christ. Is Marvel actually growing up? Have they actually listened to all the fan complaints and the box office bombs and taken steps to correct it? I don't know. These are just teasers at the end of the day. For all I know, the finished movie could still be a chaotic, goofy, self-deprecating disaster that makes Love and Thunder look like War and Peace. But if these teasers are in any way reflective of the end product, well, I think Marvel were playing the best hand they possibly can here. They're making smart moves, treating Doomsday with the gravitas and seriousness it deserves, putting their most iconic heroes that they know people actually care about front and center, instead of a bunch of AstroTurf diversity hires and cheap carbon copies. You know, it's amazing what you can do when you give your customer what
Does that even have to do with making a good or bad movie?
You see, that's the thing right there. I don't even think he knows he's just using buzzwords. And that's the thing also with Drinker. Like, saying, oh, there's diverse characters in it. Any character, he'll call fucking Black Panther a diversity hire, is what he'll say. Anyone who's, like, not white is diversity hire to him. Like, it's the same fucking 15 buzzwords he uses every fucking time. And it's like, he can't actually explain what he means by it. They're just buzzwords to him. He just throws them out. I'm sorry, cut you off there. Sorry, Otis.
No, you're fine. Sorry. Because the more he keeps talking about how, oh, I hate people of color and all these women. Yeah, let's get some more white men and white dudes being older white men. I'm just like, Drinker, if you want to come out of the closet, it's fine. Gosh.
There's a lot of homoeroticism in the average grifter like sphere, because they're always like, no, we want manly men who are manly and stoic and awesome and do a little thing with the eyebrows where they in the sun and the light. But it's not gay, guys, I swear.
Only straight men can make themselves so gay.
Jesus, yeah, this is it's gayer than the Pride Parade in some of these grifter circles. I'm not gonna lie, which is not a problem. But I'm just saying it's hypocritical. That's the problem,
right?
At least be honest about it. You want to look at men in tight outfits, just being dads. Nothing gay about it, I'm sure.
Guys being bros, dudes being guys.
I've never seen somebody
not a cell phone in sight, living their best lives.
Not a cell phone in sight. I've never seen so many heterosexual men be mad about women on screen. Like, that's the thing right there. Like, they're so mad
I'd be
at
willing to. I'd be willing to concede that maybe like it's not always whether or not a woman is on screen as opposed to like an archetype. I feel like there's like certain categories or things that they do or don't like. It's like that academic study where I forgot what they called it. It was something for Stacey's, but it's like you have people that completely. What's that phrase? I'm trying to remember. There was a book that covered this.
The Madonna Horror Complex, is that it? Or
yeah. I think so.
And that could be
like it's the one where like women are like put into two boxes, and that's just kind of the end of the discussion.
Yeah. So like they're either saints or they're sexual objects, like almost like a mother figure or a sex figure. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe
because I don't know if that applies necessarily.
No, I'm thinking more like I think it more like trad word versus B word.
Oh, that's the same idea. It's just different words for it, I think.
Okay.
Because that applies in that complex. The idea that either women in the simplified perspective of the world are either like maternal or they're sexual. And there's no element of, gray in that spectrum. It's just one or the other. Which obviously is terrible. But like that's how some people see it. Especially in media discussions. I think that really comes across in like the noir films where you have like the quote unquote good girl and the quote unquote femme fatale. Especially if you watch old Hitchcock. That's an example right there. But it's like, I don't think that's it though, because I think the problem is any woman in a movie who does not fit that category, these grifters get mad about. And even when they do fit that category, they still get mad about it because they're getting mad at the idea of it. They're not actually like a perfect example of this is when the movie Prey, again, going back to Predator, when Prey came out, Drinker's video on Prey, let me see if I can get that up real quick. Real fast, I'll bring this up. Just a real quick little reference here to refresh anyone's memory.
I can't remember if he hated it or if he like turned around on it.
He quote unquote.
He did like a full 360 on it.
Yeah, he really pulled a 360. Here's his trailer response though, because this is still around. Oh, wait 1 second.
Is one of the greatest action movies ever made. A perfect combination of gung-ho,
so
testosterone.
Here's his response to for those who don't remember, Prey stars a female lead. Naru is a great character, I think. Really interesting. Here's his response to Naru.
Just Marines from Alien.
What's up? Sorry.
I was just going to say, starting out talking about the gung-ho testosterone-filled guys in it. He's not beating the allegations.
No, he spends a ton of time talking about how manly these guys are. Again, yeah, exactly. The first
but that's
3
just
minutes.
me.
Let's rock!
Anyway, the point I'm making here is that there's definitely potential for this kind of concept, provided it's handled with a bit of intelligence, a somewhat realistic portrayal of the main character, and that it avoids falling into the trap of using its culturally sensitive backdrop to push the message. So let's see what the trailer has to say for itself.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
You sell some?
That's all it takes for him to react like this. I'll just play it out.
Bullshit! All of it. Yeah,
Sorry.
lines like this.
Hey, what's up, Phineas?
I'm just poking in to visit for a little bit.
Hey, it's fine.
Hey, what's up?
Phineas, mind introducing yourself to the chat?
Hi guys, my name is Phineas. I do little baby media essays. I do video essays for the fun of it. I'm just chilling here while I heat up my tea kettle. Also, my snake is currently chilling on my shoulder.
I freaking love that. Also, I got a comment from Wave in Discord. So, for those who don't know, Wave Runner edited several videos on my channel, regularly edits videos for Liligoth Kikimation. He sent me a message I want to read out to you guys. I'm sure he's fine with it. Because he edited some of my videos. Gonna chime in. A bulk of the work I did for the videos I edited for you was trying my best to find the most fitting footage for what you were talking about. I'm going through some X-Men clips for this, for example. Like using reacting clips, but it's a spice. You gotta be smart with how you use them. Just popping them in every 2 seconds takes away from the video. I agree with that fully, Wave. Yeah. So Critical Drinker putting in too many reaction clips, that's a problem. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry about that.
Fair. No, you're good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoy your avenging the Avengers or something, whatever you're doing.
Fair enough.
I figured I'd come in and poke and say hi quickly. I will send if you guys are chilling in the chat after you finish streaming, text me. I will introduce you to Hermes.
Oh, I need to see
certainly
this.
hope so. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm
same
gonna
here.
take you up on that. Don't worry about that. We won't be too long, I don't think, but that'd be amazing. I have to know. I have to see. I have
Take
to
care.
see this.
Bada boom. Bada boom.
See you. Phineas is great. If Phineas just shows up like randomly in every other stream, that'd be amazing. Just popping up briefly. Anyway, So here's what he says about Naru.
We're almost certainly going to invite mockery and hostility from a fan base that just wanted a decent Predator movie instead of a fucking intersectional feminist struggle session, but hey, I guess it was totally worth it to send a message. So of course our protagonist turns out to be a strong female character who just wants to become a hunter against the wishes and traditions of her tribe. Why? So the rest of the plot can happen. Also, I'd like to point out that no hunter-gatherer society of that time period would have tolerated this kind of bullshit from one of their own. Those ideas would have been literally beaten out of her before she could say.
Do we know what
"Smash
tribe
the
she's actually from, and if there's a
patriarchy"?
historical like Wikipedia document we could read? Because I feel
yes,
like
we do know the tribe, but that's almost not relevant because he doesn't know what the tribe is. He doesn't. He's saying like he knows like he's an expert on it, but he has no idea what tribe it is. And they were
perhaps, but I feel like
accurate to the actual tribe's history. Like right down to reviving, being one of the only examples of a dead language being recorded on screen, almost dead language being recorded on screen. But I think the big thing we're missing here is this piece right here.
Kind of bullshit from one of their own. Those ideas would have been literally beaten out of her before she could say, "Smash the patriarchy." And
that's the big issue there. He has no idea what she's talking about. Like, he has no idea what anything she's going to say is. He has one line of dialogue from a trailer without any context and is going off on a tangent about this. Like regardless of the
he's making a lot of assumptions based on the trailer, it seems.
A massive amount, yeah. Like regardless of anything else. Oh, and then he gives this comment too, which is even worse.
Anyway, whatever. This is 21st century Hollywood's idea of what nomadic hunter tribes acted like. So strong female character takes her suspiciously domesticated pet dog and ventures out into the wilderness to try and...
How is it suspicious?
Domesticated. Humans domesticated dogs historically. What the fuck?
Yeah, like thousands of years ago.
He's got his like timelines completely wrong. Like, isn't this like when the Spaniards start showing up as well?
No, this is post-French colonialism.
I was even further forward. So
this is the
dogs are even more
1700s.
domesticated. Yeah, holy shit.
This is only 300 years
dogs
ago.
are man best friends, not woman's best friend.
Exactly.
You've cracked it.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
They've been here for Europeans have been in this world for hundreds of years at this point. Like, this is beyond, and it's not like what modern day people think. They had historians who understood the culture at this time, giving a relatively accurate portrayal of native life. This is like. He is so staggeringly off mark with this, based on nothing.
The question comes, is that just stupidity? Like, he can't believe that anybody, because he's done this a few times where he's made claims about people of the past being idiots and stuff like that. Is it that he's just completely historically illiterate, or is this because she's a native? Is it that sort of like white savior thing that they couldn't possibly have been educated? They're from a foreign country. Is it that?
It could be. It could very well be, because he's not experienced with any native history. He doesn't know any of this stuff. He's not even from America. Like, he's not even like, remotely close to the history here, but he's talking like he's an expert. Like, hell, I'm from America and I don't know the history. I don't know jack about it, but I know enough to know I don't know. Like,
yeah, and if you're going to make a video on it, if you're going to make a video on it, Google it. Spend 5 minutes looking it up.
Yeah, because they weren't hiding the fact they did a lot of like work to be accurate. Like, they were always overt about it. The production was already well underway, already completed by the time this trailer came out. They were giving interviews. They were talking about it. Like, it wasn't impossible to find this information out. And like, just the fact that he thinks dogs weren't domesticated 300 years ago, or 350 or whatever, is ridiculous. Like, it just is ridiculous. Oh, wait, goddammit, Malcolm's joining us. Hey, welcome. Come on in. Everyone from the raid, welcome. We're talking about domesticating dogs, Native Americans, and people getting mad about Marvel movies. So if you like that, stick around. You should know what you're getting into if you came to the stream.
Just to clarify for anybody who's curious as well, I did a 5-minute Google search, and this woke place that I won't mention yet says Comanche women fought with. Oh, she's part of the Comanche tribe, apparently. Yep. So Comanche women fought with the same ferocity displayed by their male counterparts in the martial defenses of their homes, on horseback, later using rifles, and that's from the Texas State History Museum.
Yep. And if Texas is saying it, you know that anything Critical Drinker would reference probably say the same thing. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, Comanche were known for being extremely violent and intense and brutal and relentless with their targets, historically. Granted, a lot of that has to do with, like, othering. You know, that's fair. But, like, still, like, even the resources Critical Drinker would cite or look at would tell him that he's wrong on his own terms. So yeah, it doesn't take much for Critical Drinker to get pissy at, like, women in films. It doesn't take, like, we can try to rationalize and understand all we want, what specific things trigger him. But at the end of the day, it just takes one little thing for him to make a whole video about where he'll do no research on it. Like, he doesn't have a well thought out argument. He doesn't have a lot of ideas behind it. He just jumps and attacks, and that's it. We can try finding the solution, but you're not going to find it because it's just grifting. All right, let's let some super chats play real quick.
At Bernard_CK super chatted $2. Drinker is just a pick-me girl at this point.
He really is. He's a big pick-me girl. And possibly gay, but we'll get to that.
At Olivia_Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $1.44. As if Drinker read War and Peace.
I have doubts he has read. Oh, he's written books, but I don't think he's read War and Peace.
At Austin LaPlante4203 super chatted $5.
That's fair too.
There's literally a caveman movie called Alpha that is a boy and his dog movie.
Yeah, dogs were domesticated a while ago. I don't know when, but still.
At Olivia_Williams_purple_fairy super chatted $5.05. There's a lot of hunters-gatherers society we know where women hunted. There's numerous studies on the subject.
It's, well documented. Unfortunately, I don't have all the documents on my hand right now. But
at Lupine Calibrator super chatted $2. Why do grifters try to sell us fanfics in review?
That's a good question. Lit Devil did the same thing, too. Lit Devil did a video also criticizing Prey that I did on a video once, like a response to. And his fan fiction was basically putting Naru in the kitchen more. That's all the changes he made, essentially. It's ridiculous. Anyway, back to this video. I love when we had a 9-minute video, like a 3-hour reaction, but like we've talked about everything but the video at some points, which probably is for the best, I would say.
Actually want instead of force feeding them what you think they need. But you can't please everyone all of the time, and the people who make it their business to be offended on behalf of the entire human race have already started complaining about the lack of diversity in the teaser.
Oh god, he's gonna fucking complain about what's her name again, isn't he? Who I can't stand personally, but friggin' Grace Randolph. Like they're just talking about Grace Randolph. Like, yeah, some people would like there to be more diversity in the Avengers Doomsday movie, but like, he's just gonna cite what Grace Randolph is saying and act like that's the entire perspective. Plus, like, we all know there's gonna be more actors who show up in this movie. Like, the cast list is not complete yet, so it's like we know it's going to be more diverse. If you know these film announcements are made, more diversity is coming, typically speaking. But because Grace Randolph made a statement about it, the Critical Drinker is going to say, well, all the left agrees with Grace Randolph, the savior of the left. Everyone loves Grace Randolph. I'm not a fan of Grace Randolph. I think she's a bit scummy, but that's a whole other discussion.
Wait, who is she?
Grace... She's a film. Would you say she's a film critic or media critic?
I'd say she's a scooper. I'd say she's a scooper more than a critic.
Yeah, she's not
although
like a
she
critic.
does reviews.
Yeah, like she'll write reviews, but she is mostly known for making like very wrong scoops. Like she did a lot about Birds of Prey that was demonstrably false. Like something about like a huge like genital thing. I forget the specifics of it, but like I remember the director was like, "No, this is nonsense. No one is doing anything with a giant statue of a man's." What are you talking about there? It's like it was something outrageous like that. It was like something like some elaborate claim and saying that, you know, people were being fired and it was all this drama and like everyone involved with the production is like, what are you talking about? No one like, and maybe they were covering up a story, maybe, but like people seem more confused than mad about that. Like you would think if you found something real, they would say something more aggressively, but they were more just baffled by what she was saying was happening behind the scenes. It was really strange. And she's also very petty about Marvel. She has a very big anti-Marvel bias because she was fired from working at Marvel. So Grace Randolph used to work at Marvel, and when she was let go, I forget why she was let go. She's been very pissed at Marvel ever since. So,
I mean, I think I usually have a lot of sympathy for the disgruntled. I say more power to her, but that's only because it's quite clear that she has, I don't know. Yeah. I need to know why.
Yeah, she's always had like a weird bias against certain parts of Marvel specifically. Like but again, if you know that, you know that, and when you ever hear her talk, you have to look at it through that filter. That's the thing, though.
Of course, yeah, it's definitely biased.
Yeah, so that's a factor.
Although I would say that Drinker gives himself away in his own script here because he says that Marvel are now going back and giving the fans what they want. And then he presents all these people saying that what they want is more diversity. So when he says giving the fans what they want, what he means is fans like him who aren't actually fans at all.
Exactly. Well, you have to consider that he doesn't think these people are fans. He thinks they're just like, you know, that's the problem with it, though. Like, it's illogical. Like, supposedly, Marvel is giving the fans what they want, but also the fans are pissed. Like, at the same time. It makes no sense. It only makes sense if you ignore that these people are also fans, which is easy for him to do because he doesn't think of them as people. You know? He thinks of Valkyrie as a diversity hire, despite her being one of those popular characters introduced to the MCU within Phase 3. He probably thinks Black Panther's a diversity hire, quite frankly, given how he talks about it. Also, some of these are just generic images. These aren't even reactions to... Like, these aren't even, like, reactions to the Doomsday trailer. Like, this one's just a Donald Trump video that's been, like, used, like, since... This poor woman, at this point, should just be charging, like YouTube royalties for how many times they put her in videos. The right loves dead memes. It's like a super dead meme at this point. I don't know.
Oh no! What happened?
Girls get it done.
No, you don't, sweetheart. That's the problem. Where are the Captain Marvels, the She-Hulks, the Ironhearts, the Captain Falcon Man, the Eternals?
Actually, Falcon's in the movie, but okay.
Damn, was that actually a real movie? Well, dear viewer, the problem with all those characters is nobody gives a fuck about them. They never did, and they never will. And after half a decade of practically ramming them down our throats and demanding we accept them...
Oh, so he can't name any examples.
Wanda's dead.
Yeah, Wanda's dead. But also, he can't name a single example of someone complaining, can he?
I loved Ironheart. He's full of shit.
Ironheart was pretty good.
Also, yeah.
Ironheart was really underrated.
He said nobody likes those characters.
Yeah, well, he's rage baiting.
You're wrong.
Well, he's just
I guarantee that every one of those characters' project has a higher score on IMDb than his own film. So clearly, nobody cares about his film.
Well, that's the funny
Nobody
thing
cares
too.
about his characters.
That's the funniest part. Like, he's clearly rage baiting right now. He's trying to get pissed off at him. Like, no one likes these guys. You all suck. You're full of shit. Eat shit while I get to look at my manly men on screen wearing tight outfits. But the reality also is his own book has these kind of characters in it. One of the big complaints about his short film based on his book was it had too many girl bosses in it. for his own fans.
Wow.
His own production had the same types of characters he's making fun of in Marvel films. That's the thing that's so hypocritical about it. He's saying, "Oh, Marvel, you guys suck. Your characters are terrible. I'll find 5 clips out of context to make fun. I'll play the same clip of She-Hulk 15 times in every video I make to say how bad she is." The one end credits scene where she, like, half people watching the episode missed because they turned the episode off after the credits started rolling.
Which was also a joke.
It was also a joke, yeah. The fact of the matter is that these people just hate watching women on screen. They'd rather see manly men in tights on screen. Use that information however you wish.
I'm fully convinced they don't even think that there's like a market for like women or people of color or
they
black
don't.
people for entertainment.
They don't believe they exist. For example,
they do believe there's a market, but it's a secondary market that belongs on black people's channels and in women's spaces.
That's only the Chris Gores who say that. Critical Drinker doesn't even go that far. Like Chris Gore at the bar is so fucking low that Chris Gore is like, "Oh, but they should be budgeted proportionally to the audience size." And the audience size is tiny because I don't think of them as a big audience. Therefore, it must be niche and therefore it must be cheap. He said that about what was the one? Movies with Mark did this video where he went over Chris Gore's comments. I think he covered it where it was one of the
worst.
Was it Manhunter? Was that the movie? It was the one by the one trans author Gretchen something. I'm trying to blank on her name.
I can't remember that example, but the one example that I think is the worst from Chris Gore is when he suggested that Disney should have a separate streaming service called something like Disney Sparkle just for their gay content.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because gay people should pay extra for content and not just have it be grouped in. Because streaming's so cheap already. We need more money to be spent on streaming services. Jesus Christ, Chris Gore. Oh man, so stupid. We have to segregate the content to keep away from all the straight stuff. Clearly, you know, that's not an issue, I'm sure, at all. It's very, very stupid, and very, again, like beyond the fact that there is an audience who watches it. You know, they do watch it, they do enjoy it to some extent. Stuff like She-Hulk, every few months I see another post on like social media going like, She-Hulk was overhated. It was actually quite underrated and gets a huge response, you know? So there is an audience for it. Is it the biggest audience? Probably not, but there's still an audience for it. I enjoyed She-Hulk just fine. I thought Ironheart was actually a pretty decent series, and I don't like the character Ironheart from the comics. At least how originally written by Brian Michael Bendis. I think she was done much better by later writers, especially in the Champions run, and her own solo title after the Iron Man, the main Iron Man run, where she appeared under Bendis. But I think it sucks because Riri Williams is one of those characters who like really got a rough start. Her initial run sucked, through no fault of the character inherently, because Brian Michael Bendis just screwed up the character. And other writers had to take the character and do a better job with it. Most of the Ironheart series doesn't even lift from the Bendis run. It lifts from the other stuff done later with her. Or original stuff entirely. And it works better because of it.
Which is often the case with comic book characters like Chris Claremont and the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that these guys all have this incredible blind spot for, which is weird considering the sort of films they like, is they don't believe in a secondary market for something or a legacy. So as far as they're concerned, it has to be popular immediately or it's awful.
Yeah.
Which completely negates. I mean, one of Critical Drinker's favourite films is Big Trouble in Little China, which was a huge flop.
Yeah,
they all like The Thing.
Or Predator. Yeah. That was not that huge a hit when it came out. Like, there was a thing where Critical Drinker was like raging because the original Predator had a lower Rotten Tomatoes score than every single recent Predator film. And I'm like, yeah, obviously. The film was not a hit with critics when it came out. Like, I think the original Predator has like a 64% Rotten Tomatoes, something like that. Like, pretty low.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, obviously. Critics didn't take it seriously. They thought it was trash. But that has changed since then. Hell, this is one of my favorite examples of this, and I've said this one a bunch of times, so sorry if I'm repeating myself again. The same weekend in 1981, E.T. came out alongside The Thing and Blade Runner. And E.T. was the only one to be successful in its era. The Thing was a massive flop, and Blade Runner was a big flop too. No one liked either film when they first came out. They were critically panned, actually. Blade Runner a little less so than The Thing. The Thing was reviled. It was, I think, Roger Ebert called it like the gross out film of the year, and as a derogatory way, saying it was like nothing but like trashy effects, and it was garbage, and this, that, and the third. And then, over the years, The Thing first, then Blade Runner, when it came out with the director's cut for Blade Runner, they were seen as sci-fi masterpieces because you had to build to it. You know, it had to find its audience in the VHS market, on TV, you know, this, that, and the other. It's a Wonderful Life was a flop when it came out. It was a big disaster. It bankrupted the studio that made it. But because it was such
now it's like a Christmas classic.
Exactly. Given a couple decades, it's a masterpiece.
One of the biggest franchise, but one of the biggest things of the last few years has been Wicked. But Wizard of Oz took 10 years to make its initial budget back.
Yeah. Though at the very least with Wizard of Oz, it was up for Oscars. So there was recognition it was a great film early on, but it was not profitable is the big thing. Because it was so expensive. I mean, granted, now it's one of the most profitable films of all time, but I think it was like one of the most watched movies ever, but it's also like the movie was a disaster financially when it first came out. It probably almost bankrupted MGM for a while. Well, at least MGM lose a lot of money. Office Space, another example, that bombed. And was Fight Club bombed. Scott Pilgrim bombed. A lot of these films people love bombed when they came out. Hell, the first X-Men did not make that much money relative to the box office it had. Even using this as an example, you know, it just didn't. I think it made just made its money back, like just roughly. Iron Giant bombed. Shawshank Redemption bombed. A lot of these movies that are now seen as masterpieces bombed. Am I saying She-Hulk is going to be the Iron Giant? No, by no means. But does it have an audience? Yeah, I think it does. And I think it's gotten more of an audience over time because Grifters have made fun of it for so long. People are like, well, I want to see what's going on here. You know, I want to see what this is like. Grifters, ironically, are the best marketing team for any of these shows. The Acolyte, for all of its flaws, and I don't think it's perfect, I think it has a lot of flaws, The Acolyte was one of the most watched Star Wars shows in the last 3 years. Maybe even more so than Andor. And part of that is because the massive backlash brought eyes to it rather than away from it. Controversy sells. Ironically, people like the Critical Drinker are actually necessary in the sense that they actually serve as promotion for the very things they hate. Ironically, people don't watch movies because they are angry at them. They don't watch movies because they don't care about it. That's why stuff like Skeleton Crew unfortunately did underperform, because people weren't paying attention to it. That's the cruel irony of it all. That's how I see it. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but I think that's how it works.
Yeah, no,
that makes sense. Cult classics.
Yeah, exactly. I help Pride and Prejudice. Princess Bride, one of my all-time favorite movies, wasn't hugely successful, but it was successful in video.
Citizen Kane was a flop.
Citizen Kane was a flop. Yeah. Tons of movies were flops. Hell, the Universal Monsters almost bankrupted Universal. Granted, not the initial movies, but the later ones. Dracula's Daughter, specifically, almost killed Universal. But that was less because of finances and more because people thought it was too gay. D&D Honor Among Thieves is a tragedy. That is a tragedy. Also now a cult classic. That's a great example of happening recently. D&D Honor Among Thieves failed at the box office to get enough money, and now it's kind of seen very positively by audiences, which is good, I think. Anyway, let's try finishing this before midnight. Let me play some super chats real quick.
At WC Wit super chatted $5. John Carpenter was so mad about Big Trouble getting screwed over by the studio that he never made a major studio film like it again.
Yeah, and he lost the rights to Firestarter, Stephen King movie.
At Andrew Brown 9981 super chatted $2. Gundam on its original run was cut short.
Yeah, it was not. It was up for the shippers and the Gunpla figurine collectors that it succeeded. Yeah, or got back with a movie revival anyway. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
I think even Marvel are starting to realize this shit ain't working, man. They've practically destroyed their own brand and driven away their core audience, trying to appease the activists who never gave a shit about their product in the first place, and...
No, Marvel had issues because Disney made them make Disney Plus content. They were spread too thin. It's not complicated. The reason why Marvel is struggling is not because necessarily She-Hulk's had a twerking scene or Ironheart had a black lead. The reason they're struggling is because within 2 or 3 years, there were 20 different Marvel products and you had to watch all of them because Disney was like, no, we need content for our platform now. It was too much, man. That's the issue. It has nothing to do with the quality. Even if it was good, it would be too much, you know? It's not complicated. The problem is Disney's business practices. It's way more simple than the specific content was bad. Because to get to that point, they'd have to watch the content. If the content was bad, it would turn people off of that specific piece of content. The problem was there was so much of it and it wasn't all great. So you picked and choose. Only the stuff that mattered that we went to go see. It has nothing to do with the quality. It has everything to do with the quantity. And also, a lot of them weren't good on top of that. You know, or at least not great. That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with the fact that She-Hulk twerked on screen. They'd have to get to watch She-Hulk to get to that point. It didn't start, in some cases.
Push the message that's been rejected time and time again, and ultimately, something had to give. Either they changed course and tried to undo the damage they've inflicted on themselves, or they go out of business. Fucking pick one. In fact, from what I've been told, Kevin Feige himself privately admitted defeat on all this stuff a couple of years ago when he said, "We've done our bit for king and country, now we need to get back to making money again." It's a crazy plan, but it just might work. It's funny how quickly all that
That doesn't even make sense with what you're talking about. Whatever.
nonsense goes out the window when actual survival becomes the priority again, isn't it? It's a bit like when there's another foreign war brewing and you start seeing all-male recruitment ads for the army. That's when you realise, oh shit, they want actual soldiers again. Now,
what are you fucking talking about, man?
Hyper example?
Yeah, you gotta come up with an example of that one. What? Like, what are you talking about specifically? What foreign war, buddy? What military propaganda are you referring to with that one there, buddy? Also, the idea that Disney promotes any message is fucking stupid. Disney is a company that will do whatever it takes to get money. But these are all people who complain about Lightyear having like 11 seconds of like two women holding hands and kissing. Like that was some big woke message when it was like the least amount of representation you could possibly have. Meanwhile, at the same time, you have Peacemaker have a bisexual orgy scene in it, and people kept watching Peacemaker because no one is so offended by this that they'll actually stop watching it anymore. one of the most successful shows on HBO Max, and indeed streaming right now, is Heated Rivalry, which is extremely queer. People genuinely, only in the superhero genre and sci-fi genre, get offended by this. Outside of that, no one gives a shit. That's not true. People give a big shit because they watch it. Horror, for example, with It, for example, they added a whole LGBTQI subplot into the It Chapter 2 that was not in the books. People like it, generally. They generally seem to respond pretty well to that. Even though it's exactly what people like Critical Drinker would say is like the worst, it's terrible for society. People still go back to it and say, that's pretty good stuff. That was pretty clever how they did that. It added depth where there was none in a certain relationship in the books. People don't like It Chapter 2, but that's not what they criticize for. They criticize the other elements, like how they made Pennywise kind of weak, you know? But then, well, the theory comes back and they kind of go back on that. The point is, outside of specific genre fare, no one is complaining that this happens in the show. Outside of the most conservative of audiences, most people who get offended by this don't notice it, and those who like it flock to the show. And besides, I really want to challenge anyone. Outside of Thor: Love and Thunder, which again was the most overt queer-friendly Marvel production, can you even name a gay character in Marvel? Like by name?
Loki.
Okay. Aside from Loki, that's the easy example. But even Loki, in the MCU, hell, Marvel Rivals added female Loki, added femme Loki. So in Marvel Rivals, which is by a lot of these grifters point to Marvel Rivals and go, this is how you should do the MCU. Even they are more overtly queer. And it's a Chinese company that makes Marvel Rivals, by the way. Even they are more willing to embrace the queer elements of Marvel than the public Marvel Studios MCU. A Chinese company. That is how low the bar is, people.
If you want a classic example of why these people really stand for nothing, you just have to look at, without even going into the plot of it or anything like that, they freaked out over Will coming out in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, they're nuts about that. Even though it was like, but for seasons now, it was described.
Well, not just that, but Maya Hawke's character came out in the last season and went on a date, or he's going on a date with a girl at the beginning of this season. They seem to not care about that gay representation, weirdly.
Oh yeah, that was season 3, I think she came out. So that's like 3 seasons with a major lesbian character. And like, and the idea of it is that they don't believe that a gay person could exist in the 80s, when like, well, I mean, there's the AIDS crisis. That might have been why you didn't notice a lot of gay people growing up, but I mean, extreme homophobia, keeping people in the closet.
There were so many gay people in the 80s. That's when people actually started to sort of display be visibly gay. A lot of very prominent celebrities.
Yeah, like David Bowie, Freddie Mercury. Those are big ones that come to mind immediately. I mean, of course, you have like John Waters stuff in Rocky Horror, but that was like a little more underground. But even then, that was still in the 70s. That was before, all that, really. Oh, Agatha All Along. That was the one big example of queer stuff in Marvel. That's true. I apologize. But they didn't watch Agatha All Along. They barely talked about Agatha All Along. They completely ignored that show. Mostly because it was good. That's the first thing. Also, it was good, and I dare you to watch a witch show that isn't a little gay. Witches are extremely gay. If your witch show doesn't have a lesbian in it, it's not a witch show. Unless it's The Witch, which, different story, but I digress.
These are all necessary steps to get the MCU back to something
He's
vaguely
used the
resembling
same
long-term
5 clips multiple
profitability
times in this
again,
one
but
video.
in the short
It's
term,
bugging me.
it does leave them in the tricky position of having pissed off just about everyone. The modern audience they've been desperately courting for the past 5 years are going to be so deeply triggered by the swerve back towards traditional male heroes that there's not enough chamomile tea in the world to calm them down, while the core audience that made them a global brand in the first place have been burned and driven away by years of self-righteous lectures and tedious identity politics. A lot of them have moved on to other things now, and they might prove harder to win back than Marvel think, especially if they plan to reboot and relaunch the whole MCU after Secret Wars. You're gonna need a large and dedicated fan base to stick with you through a major shake-up like that, and I don't know if Marvel can count on it anymore. But hey, it's gonna be fun to watch them try. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
That's the thing that's so weird. A lot of this is them trying to get mad at trying to focus on this imaginary group of people who are so mad right now. But all I've seen is Grace Randolph. That's about it. No one's... The funny thing is actually that the big reaction to Doomsday before these teasers came out was utter apathy. And then the teasers got them more on board, specifically the Thor stuff. The Thor and X-Men stuff really is where the tune started changing with this Doomsday promotion. And I think it's really interesting. We're not doing a second one of these videos, by the way. I think if we took this long to get through one 9-minute video, I think we're going to close it up right after this. But
Well, I think Drinker shows his fundamental idiocy when he talks about modern audience, because all films are made for a modern audience, because the people that started with the MCU back in 2008 are people like me who are in their 30s and 40s now, and that's not the kind of people that are going to the cinemas regularly.
Exactly.
You always need to aim at the teen and early 20s market.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the age I was when Iron Man came out. That's the audience you need, the people who will go and see films and spend money, which is why the successful films this year have all been aimed at kids. Minecraft, Lilo and Stitch, and Zootopia have all been kid-friendly. And so that's the market. Marvel has to keep aiming at the core demographic, 18 to 30.
Exactly. And even if you look at the whole idea of the modern audience, one of the most successful films of the year was Sinners.
Yeah.
He's complaining about diversity and all that. One of the most successful films of the entire year was a movie entirely about black culture and the idea that music is this eternal thing that oppressive majorities, like white people, love black people's music but hate black people. They love the product but hate the people making it. That's like an overt line in the film. And granted, as a white person, I'm sure, as a white person on the stream with another black person, I feel like that's almost hypocritical for me to say. But it's a powerful message.
Oh yeah, I love that message in the film. Because they love our rhythms, but they don't like our blues.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. I think it's meaningful. I think art is meaningful because, again, like it's perspective that, and again, if you have anything to say, talk over me. I don't give a shit. It's important to have everyone have their thoughts. But I think it's really interesting how when you look at these works of art, they're saying something meaningful. The problem is the MCU just hasn't said a whole lot of meaningful things. The ones that have are the ones that are most successful. Thunderbolts financially struggled, but the fan base loved Thunderbolts because it had something to say. The only reason why it wasn't selling a lot of tickets was because it was harder to market. Cap 4 had nothing to say, and it struggled. Ant-Man 3 had nothing to say and struggled. Whereas Ironheart, you don't see too many people actually criticize Ironheart after it came out. Because generally, it was pretty decent, and people went on to the next thing afterwards, for the most part. I think, anyway. But I think it was pretty.
I largely just saw people criticizing Riri for making a deal with Mephisto, even though a crap ton of other Marvel heroes have done the same shit.
Exactly.
Peter Parker has done the same thing.
Famously did the same thing. That's what freaking One More Day's all about. One of the most all you can tell it's hypocritical because every single person wants to see Ghost Rider show up in the MCU. And Ghost Rider is Ghost Rider because he made a deal with Mephisto. It's like the key thing he's known for doing. That's why he's Ghost Rider. So it's like, again, it's the hypocrisy. It really is just all pure hypocrisy. Yeah, no. A lot of people will go like, oh, George Roddick and Critical Drinker liked Sinners. Like, yeah, they did, but they hid the fact they liked it under a lot of different channels, different perspectives and all that. So they hid the fact they liked it. Also,
did they really like it?
Yeah.
Or did they just say that they liked it because everybody was saying how great it was?
Do they have
and
any
it was
actual
impossible to
opinions of their
ignore?
own? That's a better question. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I think they just say whatever they think will get them the most views. Anyway, I'm going to play some Super Chat, and I'm going to wind down today's stream. Let's let them play real quick. All the remaining. Now is your last chance to say something on Super Chat, by the way.
Wit Super Chatted $5. Agatha all along was queer as hell
Yep.
and was a massive critical and fan favorite.
Yeah, people love Agatha all along because it's good. And, it's a good series.
At
It's about
Andrew
something.
Brown 9981 Super Chatted $2. I hate what the MCU did to Phyla Vel.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. I'm not going to lie. That was disappointing. I love James Gunn otherwise, but that was really rough. Okay, so it looks like we're about done today. Anyone want to shill their channel before we wrap things up?
Sure, why not?
Hell yeah.
I gotta get going anyway. Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm Artiste TV. I've been on a bit of a hiatus for emotional purposes, but I'm slowly making my way back. I'm actually so proud of myself. I made a doctor's appointment today because I just recently got health insurance. That was a hell to set up.
Health insurance
Went to the
sucks to set up.
gym. Went to the gym. Did a chunk of editing today. I'm so proud of me.
As you should be. That's fucking incredible.
It was been awesome. Thank you again, and it was so good to be here with you guys too. Nothing but media and Sekros.
Well, you're always welcome to come on whenever, Artis. You know that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Though hopefully next
a
time be
pleasure.
under less critical drinker influenced goggles.
Oh, I love talking about this man. He makes my blood boil. It's a rage bait. Well, it's fucking working. I hate him so much.
God, yeah, he's so frustrating. Anyway, so Ryan Tikarus, anything on the show before we go?
Yeah, I'll shill.
Yeah, you go first. No, go on, go first.
I am Sekros. I'm the creator of the Obsidian Archives. If you like curvy demon girls in animation, I think you will definitely like this series. That is the Obsidian Archives. You could put an @ in front of it and it should show up.
Sounds good. I think most people will like that. Maybe not to the same extent you do, but certainly a lot of people like that. I'm teasing you, man. And Ryan?
Yeah, you will find me. It's at Nothing But Media NBM if you want to add it, but you'll find me. If you like 70s TV detective shows or just movies in general, I do have a few videos on famous flops where I've covered some of the stuff we talked about and gone into detail about their production. But yeah, check me out if that's your bag.
All right. Sounds good. All right, then, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Friday, we have a new video coming out. And next week as well, we have the next 2 weeks are already set. So we're good to go on those two. But this Friday has a video that, if it doesn't succeed, Ryan may personally come to my house and break my kneecaps. So we're hoping it's good. So, everyone, take care. Have a good one.